2, 3, Rain, talk to me. We're gonna hit a beat and talk about my Eve. Everybody
Oh,
don't know what I say.
God.
I'm gonna do a beat.
Make it
Why,
stop.
Rain?
It's
Why?
time to stop.
Why did you?
Rock, paper, scissors, right? We don't want Eve to be as simple as shut the fuck up, Seto!
Floods of like memes, and these small gangers are like, we're the elite of the elite. Do not fuck with us. We will kill you. We are the best players ever. It's like, dude, I did your shit. I did it better than you did.
You know what this conversation is like? When I say not enough supers die in Dell, and people tell me, oh, look, there's a super died in Dell. So it's like, when
What
I'm
are
talking
you
about
even
the balance
talking
issue,
about? We were talking about fucking balance, not supers
Yeah.
dying in Delph.
Look,
Why
look,
does
look, look,
everything with you have to be about supers fucking dying in
Shut
Delph?
up! Shut up!
Christ!
It's an analogy, moron. It's an analogy. Okay?
You guys stop arguing. You act like a fucking married couple. Jesus Christ.
No, don't stop arguing.
It's an
Well, it
analogy.
is Trash Talk
I
Tuesday.
was like,
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all my Imperium friends, welcome to the most sacred show that you will ever watch on twitch.tv. If you saw the ping, you know that that is true and factual. We are getting that award. It is coming directly from Twitch in 6 to 8 business weeks, and it is a real thing. We were given that award because we only talk about the facts on this show, nothing more than the facts. And we are also the third best Eve Talk show, broadcasting on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Redline, and I am joined by can I use the word cacophony? Is that a word I can use?
I
No.
prefer
No, it would not prohibit.
cavalcade. No,
Cavalcade?
a cavalcade. A cavalcade is like a
Oh,
parade or
a
a
ca-
list of
A
people.
cacophony is not at all what I was describing.
It's a lot of
That's-
loud noises, but
That's
I guess you
fantastic.
still
Which is
could
kind
actually.
of close. That's
Yeah, it
pretty
is
close,
kinda close.
actually.
that's
Very
pretty
close.
accurate. We are a lot of loud noises.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Okay, I can use this word. I am joined by a menage a trois of a lot of
No.
people.
Isn't that sexual?
It's a menagerie, you dum dum.
Menagerie.
That says
Isn't
Not
it
menage
menage
a trois?
Isn't that something
Are
sexual?
you
I'm
having
not
a
fucking in here, y'all.
Yikes. All right.
Cacophony-
Especially when
Anyways,
it's mostly a sausage fest in here, so.
well,
Mm.
2 out of 12 ain't bad. Anyways, tonight we've got some pretty interesting topics to talk about. I've been challenged to speak in only facts, which I've already betrayed because I wasn't actually challenged to do that, but I'm going to do that tonight. I'm only going to say things that are true. I'm not going to say anything that's false. While we talk about the war, while we talk about the industry changes, while we talk about all the normal stuff that we talk about, including some fun stuff that's been happening in Lantorn, because apparently Snuffed Out's been feeding a little bit, everybody else has been feeding a little bit, and I hear it's been a lot of fun. But first, I'm going to throw it over to my buddy Wagon. He's got some words that he would like to say.
Yeah. I think a lot of you might have already heard this, but last Wednesday, I believe it is, entire frat coalition received news that one of our corp CEOs have passed away at age 25 from a heart attack. It is one of the most. I'm still really young in my life. It's one of the most hard-hitting things I have ever heard. He was a very nice guy. He was one of the nicest people I have met. It's just hard for me to see him go. And thanks to all the people who came for the vigil at T5C last week. Yeah. Thank you for everyone who, came to. I'm sorry.
I won't be sorry. Condolences to you and his family, and
Yeah.
it sucks.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, and we were talking a little bit earlier before the show started about how, like we can be on, other sides of a space war and all this and that, but at the end of the day, we're all essentially family playing this game. The community is so small, and it sucks so much to lose one of our own. Everybody, if you just want to show Wagon how much we support him, support Frat, just throw an 07 in the chat. And obviously that's a rough topic. But I know that I know you'll do him proud, Wagon.
Thanks. Thank you, everyone, for supporting. Especially, yeah. Just really sucks to see him, leave so soon. Especially when he's so young. I know, just didn't seem fair to me at the time.
And it never really does. And I appreciate you, saying stuff. I know it's hard. It's always hard when it's a member of the community. So we'll just take a moment where everything is just nice and quiet, just to remember him. And we're gonna do that right now. And now, it is my great displeasure to introduce you to Trash Talk Tuesday, where we come on and we talk shit to each other for 2 hours, because that's what on the show. So, anyways, we've got some topics that we want to talk about. So, Jeremy, you're
My
lighting
first
up.
topic.
Did you have something you wanted to say today?
Yes.
You wanted to do?
I have jumped my carrier to the AJI beacon. Goon Swarm, I am in Bubbles, and the beacon is open to you should you wish to collect a Jeremy Nadare limited edition Chimera carrier kill mail. This is in honor of the Frat CEO who passed, and the new industry changes we'll be talking about soon.
Well, I often call the beacons idiot magnets, and I'm not sure how Jerry jumping to a beacon, how I should think of it if it's an idiot magnet or not.
I would say that confirms that statement.
Perfectly on point, actually. Yeah.
Why don't you just get into T5Z?
Well,
To
because
be-
it's the AJI beacon.
1DQ.
To be honest, like if you have access to the beacon and AJI, even if you are blue to Jeremy, please do us all a favor and just give him a quick murder real quick. Like it's a mercy killing at this point. Like, where if you have an animal that it just isn't doing what you need it to do, you just take it out back in the shed. This is that kind of a situation. Just take care of it for me. I would appreciate that. So I mean, if
You
we
guys have
want,
sorry.
no, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna ask if you guys had a shed growing up or something, dude. That's fucked up. That is fucked up.
Well, have you not seen Old Yeller?
I think it's behind the shed.
Didn't he get
I don't think they
rabies?
they have
it's
a
not like he
murder
stopped
shed.
being a good dog. I think he got rabies or something.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
got.
No, he
got
wouldn't
rabies,
listen.
And they took him out back by the
He
woodshed.
kept peeing in the fucking in the front room. That's why he got shot.
Pretty sure he got rabies.
Yeah, he did, but like he was still, just because Jeremy has rabies doesn't mean that just because Jeremy doesn't have rabies doesn't mean we can't take him out back of the shed and take care of him.
Sure, there's
Anyways,
a shed behind this studio.
There's a shed somewhere, right? Anyways, so since you jumped to carrier apparently in protest to the industry changes, let's talk about this.
I didn't say in protest. I didn't say that at all.
Beautiful segment.
Damn, I can't believe you're feeding the protest industry changes. It's kind of weird.
I'm not protesting anything.
That's
Okay.
weird. Loki wasn't he saying something about that earlier today? Like I'm pretty sure he said I'm just gonna jump my carrier to the AGI beacon because I don't like the industry changes. Didn't you hear that?
Those are words that I heard him
He
say.
seemed really angry at the time too. He was almost
I think these industry changes are great.
rapidly saying something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
Back in my day, we just shot a monument near the market hubs.
Bro.
I'm not. I can't really be mad at something I don't know anything about.
Speaking of boomer memories, Rain, you remember whenever the world rioted, when they took the neck frill off the fucking vagabond?
No.
Yeah, they took the neck frill off the vagabond for like 2 days, and
It looks so good with the neck fro. I would have rioted on that.
Yeah, they did.
I think this is just backlash for the love story gone wrong the other night between Jeremy and Dawn. So
Dawn has a boyfriend, and so does
well,
Jeremy.
Dawn went and said, you
And
know,
so
he's
does
super.
Jeremy.
Dawn confessed that Jeremy was cute, right? And Jeremy, in the typical, little kid, let me pull your pigtails, primaried Dawn not once but twice on a subsequent fleet, and couldn't kill her. He couldn't get the job done, and I think he's angry and he's fed up.
Dawn's
and
a
now,
good Logi pilot. That's why he would primary her regardless if she thought it was cute.
Yeah, I
or
was
not.
about to say it's a tactical.
I
decision.
think it was a space love story gone wrong.
No,
I
the
really
funny
firmly
part-
believe it.
That fleet
Primary the good pilots.
primary anybody else on the entire fleet the entire night because we were like the secondary one, like circling around.
Well, yeah, because
and no
it
one
sounds like
got
Jeremy's
primary
phone,
but me.
Yeah, I saw you and I wanted to see if I could headshot you so the Logi the Logi would go away.
They wouldn't have.
They
me.
wouldn't.
See, love story gone wrong. I'm telling you, folks, love
Anyways,
story gone
I
wrong.
was too busy shooting Mr. V's mutant fleet who didn't have any Logi and was feeding to me. That was the fun part of that fleet.
Jeremy, what happens if you reach the end of this bubble and no one comes to kill you?
I'll just stop the ship and wait till someone comes to kill me.
Wait, so someone has to come kill you? I thought you said that there was a way out of this.
Go get the one
Oh,
you
I
gave.
will. I'll give it. I'll give it some time. I'll give it. Oh, here come the goons.
Do they?
Sure. Okay.
Are they coming?
They're coming.
It's bombers. Is it
It's not even bombers. It's 2 Tristans, a Tormentor, a Malediction, and a Flycatcher.
What
Oh,
are you guys doing in here?
It's Jeremy though. He'll still
Your
manage.
tard
to feed
is
to them.
feeding.
Jeremy, Billy.
I'm having fun, Billy.
Why don't you kill
Oh,
these
God.
frigates and stop sitting there like a like? Come on, dude.
All right, let's
unalive these nerds.
Let's
Why
watch
do you have?
this.
Why do you have no cat boosters?
I don't need a cat booster. I'm a man.
Gonna be a
okay.
dead man soon, dead to frigates.
What is he dying in?
I
He's
can't.
not dying
Chimera.
anything because they're not shooting him.
Why don't you get your carrier safe, Jeremy? And
Listen, there's a
focus
long
on-
story here, Billy, that I'll tell you about later.
Jeremy,
After you kick him,
why
Billy.
don't you focus on getting your shit talk together when you're on Trash Talk Tuesday, okay?
Billy, are you good at SRP this?
No.
I don't want. This was a free. This was
You
literally
heard
a
it here.
free carrier.
Really, no longer SRP's carriers.
Just because it's free
You heard it here.
doesn't mean it's got no value. Just
Well,
because you
Billy-
mined it doesn't mean it's free.
Billy, someone literally gave me this carrier to do exactly what this on Trash Talk Tuesday with. So.
Yeah,
All
and then
right.
you just be like, okay, bro.
Well, I'm gonna
see a
show
lot of
Jeremy's
that bubble
stream.
day walks
Jeremy's
it.
streaming here, so we're gonna show this and see what happens. So speaking of things that have value, and my third attempt to segue into talking about the industry changes, let's talk about those industry changes. So, can anybody tell me, like, does anybody in here actually do industry?
Yes, I
Don
do a lot.
does. Yeah, and Billy does. Yeah.
If you were allowed to talk, since you know anything about this.
What?
You said you didn't want any experts or anybody that knew what they were talking about to talk about this.
Well, it was just a joke. I do want some expert opinion.
Oh,
so
never mind.
The Billy
This
had
dude's about
was
to
explained
die.
it pretty
I
good.
poke
Yeah.
dunked too.
Yeah.
So let me get your Sevilla. You said you do some industry stuff. Let me get your
Some,
opinion
yep.
on these changes, unbiased by anything. Just what do you think about it?
I think they're great.
Really?
Is that
think-
coming? Is
no.
that CSM
Your
Billy or
tone
is that?
sounded
CSM Billy.
sarcastic.
Okay, there we go.
I don't know. They're fine. They are what they are.
Are you really not gonna kill this Tengu?
So
trying.
recall my.
So
I mean, I've
The
enjoyed.
changes are going to change the dynamic of a lot of stuff. They're going to make capitals significantly more valuable, obviously, and it's going to change a lot of stuff and make the game significantly different for a lot of people.
And people
Yeah, I
don't
agree.
like it, and everyone is panicking, and it's fucking hilarious.
I love it. I don't
So
know.
as somebody
It's
who
good
has
for you.
no idea what these industry changes are, can someone explain like the impact to me at PvP?
Yeah,
Shit,
dreads are
more
gonna cost
expensive.
10 bill now. Supers are gonna cost 70. Titans are gonna cost 200.
How about
So-
subs?
I've watched 10 Kenneth episodes explaining this shit really, really quickly and simply. Things used to work in a way where like they all had the same general base materials and they all kind of just compounded into each other, and so to build one destroyer, you needed the materials of like 5 frigates or some shit, and it went up the chain. So then 5 materials worth of destroyers might be 1 cruiser, and so far up the chain, they eventually get to fucking Titans, and it's like X amount of dreads or whatever. So the costs for materials were generally scaled in a very specific way, and everything was affected the same when materials fluctuated in price. What CCP has done is they have removed that direct coupling, as Kenneth refers to it, and is instead created new materials which will be sourced in different parts of space, which can be adjusted to control the prices of things directly. Which, if you listen to what I had talked about 5 weeks ago, I said this is probably something that they should do if this is what they want to. They want to make things more expensive while leaving other things to be less expensive for newer players. If that makes any sense at all.
So wait, are my subcaps gonna cost more or less now?
They have
Depends
not
on the
changed.
subcap.
They have not changed any subcaps except for battleships yet.
And
That
faction
may change.
and
Okay.
And faction flavors of things, apparently.
yes,
Yeah,
faction and
faction
nation.
ships are a lot more expensive.
Yes, they are. Faction battleships are extra expensive at the moment, but we have to also, like, and this is the thing, like, I'd love to just keep making fun of these people who are panicking. The last time we did any kind of meaningful industrial overhaul in this game, the alliance that I was in at the time had industrials that went on some kind of strike, which I guess is just them they stopped playing, they stopped training, and they didn't want to sub into the game anymore. Within, like, I don't know, 5 weeks they were back playing.
And they were
And then
5 weeks behind everybody else.
and they were 5 weeks behind everybody else. And this is when it comes to industrialists, and I don't like to generalize, but generally there's a lot of salt when things change because they have this perfect little system in this perfect little world.
To
and
be
they're
fair,
making
I
X
don't
amount of dollars.
necessarily disagree with some of that, just because it is so difficult and so complex to set up even the most like basic like T2 production chain with reactions, and
Right, yeah, for sure. And
like there's a lot of like significant work that goes into place to set up even like the most mild production chain that's not just like T1 cruisers and stuff. And now you're asking these people to set up production chains that are going to be equivalent to Tech 2 production chains, if not more difficult.
Right.
Okay, can I ask a question though? Isn't this really just giving industrials more content? I'm trying to be a smartass that question, but isn't that really?
Yes, absolutely. But many industrials don't view it as content; they view it as work.
Right, but that's unfortunate because it's their playstyle, which is why I kind of tried to stay away from this shit for 8 years, and now I'm slowly getting sucked into it because I started a corp. But I mean, it is work. It's spreadsheets, it's pricing shit, it's looking for deals, it's talking to other people, it's making relationships. It's all.
But
it is in itself. It is its own gameplay.
If they're already an industrialist, that's the stuff they like doing.
Well, it should be. Yes, it should be
on paper.
Or maybe printing ISK is what they like doing, right?
Maybe
Like,
so.
I think it depends. It probably
this as
depends on the
content.
industrialist. It probably depends on the industrialist.
I do have a quick question. So one thing that I saw was that this so I was looking at like the summary of the CCP stream that they did on Monday, which I hear is just a riot to watch because the answers to what do you have to say to small groups about these changes affecting them poorly?
Make
The
friends
answer
or
was
get fucked.
That
make
was
friends
that was
and
my
get
question,
bigger.
so I'd be happy to explain that one more. If you want?
Well, not right now. I'd like to make
Did I
this
make friends?
observation first. So you mentioned that it's the playstyle, like the industrialist is their playstyle, but isn't everything typically like thrown into PvP? And aren't there are people out there that don't want to have that playstyle? And I saw something about this was going to also like affect the market to where people who just want to go and buy ships can't really just go buy ships because there's none there. They're all being built locally and used, so it's just going to kill market hubs.
Well, I mean, you mean like buying ships in Jita right now, like today?
Well, just in general. But yeah, like right now,
I mean,
plus
I've had
after these changes come through.
I've had absolutely no problem sourcing like things for example, if I want to personally take out a fleet for maybe me and my corp and my alliance, I've had absolutely no problem sourcing anything until this market mania started, where everyone's speculating that things are going to get more expensive, but everything's getting more expensive, so everyone's buying everything, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, and that's exactly like what changes out is that People are speculating things are going to get more expensive. They are going to get more expensive because I imagine the complexity is going to cause people to shy away from actually doing those kinds of things, and in turn make less items available while the demand is still the same. And then suddenly you've got things that are more expensive. Inflation. No, not inflation. Supply and demand. Economics. So do you think that there's any truth to that? Like as a low sec group, like you are always recruiting industrialists. Have an industrial wing that's going to make shit for you, or are you always going to be reliant on the market?
You're asking me that personally, or
Yeah, I'm asking you
okay?
that
Sorry,
personally
I thought
as
I was asking. Okay, fair enough.
a smaller corporation within a smaller group within the video game Eve Online.
Well, I think it made being in a group like a group like RC a little bit important, more important than it already was for my group, at least for my corp. You know what I mean? Like collectively, we can probably source things and make things at a you know easier price to kind of handle. I haven't personally looked into sourcing anything yet with anybody, and that's not something I'm going to do. That's something that other people have done that I've talked to. And we might end up just buying from them. But honestly, like my corp are like PvP guys, so our goal is to make enough ISK to surf over this shit, basically. And we have a variety of strategies to do that, which like I'm not going to discuss on stream. But yeah, essentially my philosophy is like let's let the indies do the indie thing, and let's just try to support them, and let's be able to pay the high prices, but let's be that group that have the things that other people can't have. And then if you're that group, you're having a really really good time most of the time. As long as you're doing it intelligently, right?
Yeah, and so right now that is not a nutshell, right? The that group have all. That's why the scarcity things happening on that.
Well, that nullsec have been printing ISK for the last, well, I mean, for probably since the game has started, but really printing ISK since the Rorqual changes, when the Rourke became massively OP and everyone was making hand over fist and creating more and more and more Rorqual alts with the skill injectors, and then proliferating Titans and supers like motherfuckers. Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure, that is definitely nullsec thing. I've heard a lot of criticism on these changes already, even without the details specifically, because people are feeling like nullsec is still getting too much, which I mean, you could kind of agree with, I guess, but also like a lot of the iconic how do you say that media attention comes from the fights that are started in nullsec. So I don't know, man. Like you have to balance the health of the game and also like, CCP's ability to actually market the game to other players at a certain point, right?
Right.
Do you really think it's printing? Do you think it's printing ISK more than the Tech Moon time frame?
I wasn't really around then. I mean, the Tech Moon time frame was, as I
Yes,
understand it,
I think I believe it was.
I think it's more
the
go
excavator
ahead.
era definitely was printing more ISK than the tech time.
And I think it kind of democratized printing ISK, whereas I think the tech stuff was
Localized. Yeah.
localized. Like some people were making a lot of fucking money, but with the Rourke changes and then just having a super cap umbrella in nullsec, you could print, like anybody could do it, which was cool, except that the problem is that now everybody has Titans, and apparently that's not good for the game. So we're going
You're
back.
talking about, especially whenever you talk about the difference between the two eras, you're talking about one, the old, passive moon mining era with tech, and even the R64 moons as well. That was a cash infusion into the alliance. That wasn't going to line members. That was alliance income, which
Well,
is
no,
something we miss now.
in your alliance maybe, but
Well,
To be fair,
I
the
had
vast
30
majority of
$50
alliances,
up
the
myself.
higher end moons paid for stuff in the alliance. Like,
But players could make good money on moons too.
oh yeah, but for but the difference is now you lost the pad with passive moon mining leaving, and now the mass proliferation of like injecting works or whatever you guys were talking about before that. Then you started to see the income come into your regular average people with work rolls, not so much the alliance.
It definitely
Like
made more
this
people.
is kind of the dirty secret of like the pre OTEC like Technetium moons and stuff. The reason they were so good at getting fights is because the FCs were taking all of the fucking money. Like,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
like you know, it's like nobody really talks about it on, but like I had 2 tech moons. Most of the FCs I knew had like a few, let's say. It was like, and when the FCs are making money off it, they're incentivized to defend their moons, which creates the content, which invariably, you know, gets everybody nice and happy about doing things around them, right?
So do
So I
you
got up
think
to
there's ever any possibility of something like that returning, the passive income?
No.
Not to that level for sure. PI
Well,
is a passive income, but it's not anywhere near that.
like, let me put it like this: in my opinion, I don't think CCP is interested in that stuff, but I think it's one of the most powerful tools to get people to go out and do stuff. Is to give the people who really drive the content in this game incentives to do so. Like, that's one of the biggest problems. Is like you've got these FCs, and unless the FCs are like in certain, like, really driven to help their alliance, what's the financial incentive for me to run 10 more ops, right? Like,
there
you
is
know,
none.
but if it's my fucking tech moon, I can tell you, we'll be fucking there every time,
Isn't that
right?
trickle down economics, right?
Look, I think
Kind of.
the passive thing, you know, the idea is really good for uh pure PvP groups that don't or that are not interested in industry at anyway, or in almost anyway. And I mean, you had some of the most prolific kind of PvP groups and kind of come out of low sec in an era where you could just passively make income off the moons. I don't think that's ever coming back, but I mean, they're at the same time we're trying to kind of make low sec like null sec, where we're just going to need a lot of mining activity and large umbrellas to protect
I'm
our
excited for
miners, right?
that.
Well,
I want to try
at
it
the
out.
same
You'll have
time,
opportunities soon enough, Don.
well, at the same time,
Keep your mouth shut.
what happens with that obviously is that you only get 1 or 2 really really big groups in those regions, and all of the really dynamic PvP kind of dries up a lot.
Well, Don,
As go ahead.
well, I was gonna completely change the topic.
Cool.
Oh, well, I guess not completely change, but I wanted to ask Don because, and this, we're not to the part where we start talking about the war yet, so don't get this twisted. But as an industrial member of an alliance who's currently losing all of their shit and their space and their local economy, what impact do you
You're
think
talking
these
about
changes
Philly
are
and
gonna?
Essex.
You know,
So
Sorry.
I knew that was going to be brought up. That's why I mentioned
let me give you
specifically
I will
that.
give you a real answer. I'm not an industrialist. I'm a miner. I don't build anything. The only thing I've built in my entire EVE career, other than like maybe a cruiser once, just to see how it worked, I've built a Titan, and that's it.
So you're perfect for this because I
Right.
want to
I know
know
absolutely
what
nothing about
I want to
building,
know
other than
what
it's annoying.
someone who knows absolutely nothing about building thinks of these changes. Because
Well, it makes me
I'm one of
never
those
want to get
guys.
into building. Never
Never
ever.
want to get into building. So
Never.
I
It
like
was
the building. I just
already
don't
it already was pretty streamlined. I mean, once again, like building a Titan was easy in that okay, you just need capital ship whatever not 5, and I could get that in like 2 months. And in the meantime, you have 4 to build all the cap parts. And so I just built all the cap parts. Someone handed me the blueprint pack and was like, "Here you go. Build everything in here and you will have a Titan at the end." I'm like, "I got it. I can handle that." I mined everything myself. It wasn't to save money. It was just a personal goal in the game to build my own Titan. It is still in my hangar. And with these changes, all I see is, "Ooh, I could sell my Titan for 200 or 300 bill if prices work out in my favor. Even 150 bill would be great." So,
and it seemed like I saw some sort of like a flow chart. It was kind of funny. And it was that industry in Eve has never been more clear, and it was a bunch of lines going to a bunch
ton
of
of
different
arrows.
things, and it was
Didn't
not
make any
clear
sense.
at all. So would you say that with these changes that are coming, you as a person who's not experienced in building are like you said you'd never want to get into it. Like you're
No,
never going to try to get into building now.
No
She's
interest.
built a Titan. She is. I mean, she does know what she's doing.
I
Yeah.
mean, I built a
Little bit.
Titan, so apparently I am, the offensive party of being a Titan builder. I've built one.
You're a Titan proliferator. That's what
I
we
know,
call
right?
you.
For my, it's literally just sitting in my hangar.
The
It's a record.
process now to build something isn't that difficult.
The thing is, I would
The gathering the materials is that's a different story. But the process of actually building anything,
See,
even
the
Titan,
ga-
is not that difficult. And I think that's changing. I think the process is going to be more difficult, but that should be looked at as positive gameplay for industrials. Huh?
See, the gathering the materials thing is what interests me. It's like, okay, there's multiple different things that are useful, and I've never done anything in low sec before. It still seems like ass, and I'm kind of interested in it, but I can't go by myself
Low
because
sec or ass?
I've tried without taking all my alts out of Delve. I can't do it because I need to have somebody that can kill the rats consistently. And every time I try to settle down to mine, it's ping, here's a fleet, ping, here's a fleet. So I haven't gotten to really get into it yet,
Tell you
but
what, Don.
it's something I'm interested in.
Next time you go out to mine in low sec, you just let your buddy Redline know exactly where you are. I will bring
But
a
you said
fleet
you
of
already
people
know
out
where I'm at.
exclusively to kill the rats for you.
You
Just to
said you
kill
know
the
where
rats.
I'm
Log
at.
in first.
Stop
Were you
this.
calling Don a rat earlier?
No, I would never call Don a rat.
He just didn't like me calling him a bitch, just even in a joking manner. Anyway,
There's no jokes
as
when people call people bitches.
details. So
I think
as I said, as a hunter gatherer, because that's what I like to do, is finding the good stuff, grabbing it, and running away. With my little horde and being happy go lucky. That's my favorite thing to do in this game, and the idea that there's going to be all these different things that are going to be needed. It's going to be interesting to find what is going to be my new Mercoxit. Because I loved mining Mercoxit. I was one of the biggest Mercoxit miners in Delve for two to 3 years. That's how I made all my money for my first super, and then with one barge mining Mercoxit, I bought a super in 35 days.
That is ridiculous. I'm also
and,
seeing
and it was the
people
only way of
talking
getting
about-
around the Dark Ochre rule. You can mine.
No, this was before the Dark Ochre rule. No one else would mine it, so I mined it. And I made a shit ton of money.
And people are talking in the Twitch chat about how much PI they do. I'm so sorry that interface is so terrible and you have to spend so much time looking at it. Like, that is truly saddening. I'm so sad for
PI
you.
up. I've set up PI up twice, and each time it's just like I hate myself.
Dude, what if they just go ahead?
I like PI.
So to follow up on asking Dawn, who knows nothing, about her industry experience, who does a little bit of industry? Anybody do a little bit of industry?
I do a little bit.
I do a bit.
So if you do a bit of industry, just give me a quick shout. Are you still gonna do industry, or have these changes made you say, "Fuck that, I'm outie"?
Sure, I biomassed my industry character. I was so mad about it. It's ridiculous.
Nice.
Oh, I mean, we saved up
I'm
like
gonna
16
keep doing
cards. Will get me through the. Pretty sure it'll get me through this shortage phase. Oh no.
Yeah, I think Randall, I think you're right. I think people have done that because that's a ridiculous reaction to anything. The most extreme thing is always the ridiculous reaction. I will still continue to do industry. I mean, I don't do a major amount of it, but I like to do it. I like on a tinkering scale. I literally will produce 2 ships, and then I'll blow them up. But I enjoyed that small scale of it, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what the challenge will be for building like a faction something or something to be a bigger battleship or bigger. I think that's gonna be interesting.
Honestly, if I could say something, I don't feel like I feel like the majority of the drama currently and the mania is coming from industrial people and crabs and stuff like that. But I think that the real anger when we're still in scarcity phase and these things kick in are going to come from the people who are needing to spend like 1.5 bill for a fitted nightmare, for
But we
example.
don't care about them. They're not PvEers.
Get fucked.
Yeah, I think that's where you're going to see a lot of anger expressed, and that's where CCP is going to probably have to maybe fuck around with some numbers to change it. Or if they don't, I mean,
Make more money.
people might just. I mean, no, like we can always get into cheaper ships, right? Which is probably which is what they want to happen. The thing is like
why?
Like I said before, you're taking everyone's cookies and ice cream away. all in
As a-
one kind of shot. I know it was progressive, but it was in a relatively short period of time, and
Is
giving
it-
them salad. And
No,
people don't like eating salad all the time, you know.
Is that really a
nobody has
wild idea?
ever nobody has ever written an article about that 50 versus 50 frigate fight that somebody had in some randoms.
Dude, we haven't read like epic articles of
No,
Drake
but if
fights
there was
for
a
like 10 years.
10,000 frigate fight, I bet they would.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
like
would.
They have written about a subcap fight with 5,000 ravens, at least one.
What about that
Okay.
NPC? That NPC
Just saying.
If there
It
were
is
to be a
possible.
But
record-breaking
Ravens
fight
are going to be more
with
expensive, Don.
subcapitals, that'd be the best thing for CCP.
Didn't they
A
have one the other
record-breaking
day?
fight with cruisers would
Yeah,
be a
Rick's
boon for them.
no, Rick's had the
Okay.
subcap free or
It
the
was
frigate free for all,
it was
and
a
that like
bad
broke the
example.
most.
It did. It broke the record. They
Yeah,
set
the
another record.
most combat in low sec.
It was a bad example.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
fuck
it had
you,
to be,
capital pilots. Frigate's #1.
but it had
I'm
to be something that would gain her.
sorry.
No, this is actually a good thing. If it could gain national recognition, like through some of these other fights have done, that would be huge for CCP, because that would actually bring in players who could actually get into that content right away, and they may stay. When it's a capital fight, oh, I'm going to join fucking Eve because it's a great game. You get there like, oh shit, 4 years before I can be the part of that. That's a little discouraging. Where if it was a frigate or cruiser fight that record was broken with, now like, oh shit, I can do that next week. You know, it would be a great thing for him.
So from
Make
what
that happen, Billy. Come on.
What I've heard some people come back because of these changes, just because they're like, oh look, everything I have is worth 5 times what it was. I'm gonna make so much money. And then I've also heard people be like, fuck this shit. I'm not turning on any of my characters.
Do you think they're coming back just to sell their shit though, then leave again?
Well, considering one of my friends' wallet values went from 2 trillion to 5 trillion overnight, yeah.
No,
I
I
was
yeah.
I was trying to sell all my shit, and then it's taken a considerable amount of time, and in that time, things have gotten even more valuable. And I'm like, perfect. Obviously, not all of my shit, but I've stockpiled a lot of random shit. Unfortunately, like I'm a fucking slob.
I got a stockpile of faction ships that I
Speaking-
wouldn't get the fuck out of 1DQ.
Speaking of stockpiles, Loki, as a member of a group who just recently fed all of his dreadnoughts,
when did we feed all of our dreadnoughts?
No, remember all of them, Loki.
It's
All of them.
Wink,
the-
wink.
it's
no
all of
longer
them.
Dread
Like,
Bomb.
That's what you guys
Dread
kept
Bomb,
saying.
Dread
We
Bomb
lost
is no
like
longer an alliance.
40.
It's just called Bomb now.
We lost 40 dreads. Like my
Just-
corp has
just
more than 40
go with-
dreads
go with
already.
I don't think so.
meme.
I think that was
Wink,
the entire
wink.
Go
cache.
with
40.
the meme.
Oh, I'm
Link.
sorry. You mean okay? Yeah,
Loki,
we
which corp is that?
It's
Loki?
too late now.
we
Loki. You blew
don't
it.
have any more dreads. Banana Republic is recruiting, by the way.
Anyway, bingo.
Take your shots, everyone.
Your
It's
Discord is
I like
a
how
chaotic mess.
Rundle prompts me to talk about that so that he can have a shot. I think you might have a problem, my dude.
Important question alert,
I need
though.
that out.
So
16-ounce shot.
as a member of a group who just recently lost all of their dreadnoughts, in this case it was 40, which we all understand. Everybody in the chat, everybody on the stream knows that that's not all the dreadnoughts that you have, but you lost all your
What?
dreads. Do you think changes like this are going to make you guys less likely to field those ships moving forward?
They're already less likely to field supers, so might as well just make dreads down that list too.
Well, in fairness, that's because they already lost them all betting on an Athanor.
I think it's going to make everybody less likely to field caps, just generally, which you can argue for or against. I think that we're still going to use our caps, just probably in more meaningful ways, but we kind of, as you've seen, like to take fights, and we don't really mind the losses because as long as we can afford them, right? And that's kind of, I think, how we roll. It's more of a low sec mentality over oh guys, this is going to be a close fight, so we're standing down kind of mentality, which is rampant throughout most of nullsec. And I know I'm going to get yelled at by like 40 nullsec dudes right now,
No, that's
but
it.
I think we all
100%
can
correct,
agree it's
Loki.
pretty fucking true.
Yeah,
I have a
absolutely
question though. If dreads are like, let's say they do get up to 8, 9, 10 mil is like kind of the extreme speculation going on. And people in your group don't have a dreadnought, because I feel like a lot of people have at least a dread hanging out somewhere. Like I have 4 without even knowing where they are. So I assume a dready group like yourselves would probably actually have a bunch. Let's say you've got a new player come into your corp after these changes. It's 8, 9 bill of dread. What do you tell him to make enough money to be able to afford one?
So
Or are you going to hand him one and hope for the best?
So I like to give my guys things when I can, and I don't
Jobs.
know. One dude just had a birthday, for example, and we got him a jump freighter
Of the blow
with all the
variety.
with all the nice like the ore expanders and all that stuff, right? That was like 11 bill, and I mean, again, my corp strategy is not to is not to I don't know to somehow fall and be subservient to these changes. It's to try to rise above them economically and give my guys things and have them in turn use the things that I give them to make ISK, right? And so
But
like in this example with the jump freighter, I got him a jump freighter and now he's literally making um, quite a bit of ISK actually moving things in, a place where not a lot of people like to do those sorts of things. So
Well,
I
with a
mean,
group like you guys, Loki, where you're kind of specialized. I mean, I know you do other things besides dreads, but where you're specialized toward dreads, the changes happen. 10 billion is what a dread costs. Do you change your recruitment policy and only take people who can already afford it, or do you risk on taking somebody who you got to teach to be able to afford it?
our recruitment policy has pretty much always been that we want dudes with caps, at least on a corp.
You're gonna have a no poor people recruitment policy? Is that what you're
I
gonna have?
mean,
No,
that's
you can
everybody's policy,
you
right?
can be poor. You can be poor, but you just have to have
Just have
high
that
SB.
one cap.
You have
Yeah.
no, you have to have high SB tunes. I don't care if they have them. I just want them to be able to field them. It's my job to get them into it.
Well, they
Now,
can't
I
field
know
them if
that
they
this
don't have them,
sounds
though.
this sounds like a tall. Well, no, I mean my job is to get them caps, dude. Like that's literally at least decent prices. And my
You got
job
your
is
recruiting.
also, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, we're recruiting, dude. As far as I'm concerned, like to some degree,
I'd
it
be
is it
so
is
fucking bummed.
I have a really weird outlook on this shit. I don't want the corp to actually make that much risk. I want us to have just enough to be able to survive like the worst case scenario of, all of our shit getting rolled and us getting out and moving to a different place and all this shit, right? But generally I don't necessarily want my corp to have lots of ISK. I don't even want to have lots of ISK. I want my guys to have lots of ISK, and we make that happen. As long as, it requires them to do things, but we make that happen for sure. And then that goes into 10 bill. I wait my ass with 10 bill, by the way. Like I don't like this is
Alright.
not really going to change
Now,
much for us.
now you're done, Loki. Rich
Okay.
motherfucker.
Feel.
Because
Kind of feel.
as much as I love talking just about your corp and your group, I'm more talking about like these regional divides, right? This LSEC versus LowSec, bringing in
But
high
that's
sec.
got to stop being a thing, doesn't it?
I know
Well,
Dawn
Just
is
based on
really
what,
experienced in
right?
high sec, and she'll be super experienced soon.
Lowsec has received a lot of love though. I
Listen,
will say in the last little bit compared to what we got, right? So like
But
when the
what I
original moon changes happened a few years ago, like I was in Shadow Cartel at the time, and Shadow Cartel like was already in trouble for a variety of reasons, and completely ate shit because like we had no more R64s. So like they took a lot of like Snuff literally had to like hightail it to Gundam and like do stuff for mittens and shit to get dreads and stuff. So that's the reason they survived. Shadow Cartel ate shit and sort of collapsed. Are back now a little bit. But like that's what the last little industrial change brought lowsec, right? So compared to that, this is fucking great for lowsec.
Are you guys gonna have to fight Snuff now for dank low-sec mining space?
No, we don't care about that. we're
everyone.
focusing we're
But wasn't
focusing on
the mineral
industry. God
changes?
damn it!
Weren't
How
the
do you
mineral
guys
changes
feel?
already
How,
made? Doesn't that force everyone to not really have a divide anymore? You have to have a low sec, no sec, and high sec group, right?
Well,
To
you
be
do
able to
right
mine,
now.
right? Currently, correct? To be able to build one ship, any ship, you have to have groups in all three places, don't you?
Or you just have to be able to
Or you have to buy it.
buy things
Or
from those people.
logistics to be able to get it.
But look, Don's question was really good, but not just for Loki, but for other people as well, because we have like Villy test recruits new people, like newer players all the time. You guys have kind of a rookie group. What's that
Nuggets, yeah.
one royal force or something? Is that what's that corp called? You know?
No, that's
Dread it?
called Dino Nuggets.
It's
Is
called
it called
Dino
Dino
Nugget.
Nuggets? Okay. Anyways,
Dread
I
it?
was trying to make a joke. But I'm curious how you guys are going to deal with these types of things as far as like getting newer pilots into capitals, getting them the money for the capitals.
Well, I personally used to run a Nubro Corp. What I was thinking over the past time is because now Frag controls part of Venal, I have been encouraging people to go do burner missions and stuff to get the ISK. But right now, I don't see how a new bro can get into caps that quickly without it being handed out to them.
Gotta join the right groups, my man.
How
Hey,
long would you estimate
isn't
that it
that
would
the
take?
goal of what CCP is going for? I think that's what they're
Well,
going for, isn't it?
I think it is, but I think they're going about it the completely wrong direction.
Maybe so, but they're getting there.
That's one big thing that I've seen is that, like, at least what I have said is that this is literally saying, okay, you guys that have all this shit, you're on top now, and you're gonna be on top for a good long while. So I hope you brought your seat cushion, your fucking snacks, your frothy beverages, because you're there until
Yeah, but
we
that was
decide to
gonna be a
remove.
problem no matter what the solution was. Like, there's
Well,
no
not really.
there's no way to solve the proliferation problem or industry problem or mining problem or who has the most stuff problem. That wasn't always going to end with the guys who already have the most stuff having the advantage going into it.
I mean, while I agree with you on that completely, the thing is that this whole like economy upheaval and restyling was intended to reshape how capital proliferation was accomplished and prevent it from being so easy to do, but it's already done. Like it's not something you can just take back. I described it like a tube of toothpaste where you can't just
put it
put the
back.
toothpaste back in the tube once you get it out.
Right,
So
but
like
that's just falling into a sunk cost fallacy where it's like, oh well, things are already shit. Let's just keep them shit because well, it's already shit. Better not do anything about it.
or
So
let's
you're
just think
saying
of a better way to do it instead of fucking over
Okay, like
everyone
what
else.
better way is to do it? Like the
you're
only
saying
some sort of massive
Let
move
me
on
tell you.
CCP to like take capitals that already
Let
exist out of the game, which of course they would never do
let
and
me
would be
tell you.
massively unpopular.
So, have you ever played the game Merge Dragons?
Nope.
Personally, I have not.
It's a mobile game where you have a lot of items on your little field or whatever, and you drag like items on top of each other. And when you do, those items create a bigger or level 2 version of that first item. And you do that over and over. 2 makes 2 and blah blah blah. Do that with Titans and Supers and Dreads. Easy fix. You want to get a super strong Titan? It takes 20 Titans.
Okay, but
Right?
then you just end up with like goons, pan fam,
That's
and
probably the
Test
worst
ending
idea
up
I've ever
with a massive super capital force that no one else
Yeah.
can ever.
Redline was the worst fucking idea I've ever heard.
Super supers.
It's not the worst idea. Okay, it's the worst
No,
idea, and it was all a meme.
maybe
Somebody
I'm
said
sorry.
somebody
Third
said
worst
that I
idea.
unironically said merge dragons, and I said it ironically. It was just a joke. There really is no way to make it so that this is all fixed.
Lee, you've been saying that for a
Oh, you
few weeks.
mean to it, Finn. You're just teasing us.
But I think if there was some giant like nullsec war where like 12, 13,000 people could throw themselves at each other in nonstop combat for 14 hours with the largest ships and the most egregious ships in the capital proliferation scheme, I think that would be a good step towards getting rid of some of the Titans and Supers that are out there right now. Just small
Yeah,
note.
Do you
I
think
think
this
that
war?
realistically, the problem with that is that like if that was to ever happen, there'd be like one big fight and then nothing else would happen because they'd be too scared to lose all their big ships. So
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, do you think this war is cut because of CCP, or do you think this war is because of players?
I think
Oh,
this
current
war.
war?
My conspiracy theory for
Players.
forever has been that this has been somewhat CCP directed behind the scenes.
Okay, I have 10 foil for you, but I don't think I have enough 10 foil
And
for
you
you
know
for
what?
a
You need
hat
to watch out
that
for the black
thick.
helicopters. Watch out for the black helicopters. They're probably not
I've
after you.
been on guard. Like this, my pet conspiracy theory is that this was all planned in the early 2020 CSM summit.
Billy, can you answer that?
Not enough aluminum in freaking Australia for you.
Oh, I know. Where like
Billy
and
can't answer that because
yeah,
he
yeah,
has two
people
acronyms
who are
under NDA
theoretically
and also
involved
AFK.
were currently in the room.
Oh, the FK part's more important, I think.
True.
I will say though, like if you've been sitting on supers or caps or anything else for this patch, you're gonna feel like GameStop on patch day.
Jokes on
To the
jokes on myself.
moon.
Just because something is worth 200 billion is doesn't mean people will buy it for 200 billion is. You got to remember that part of it too.
Yep.
I
Action
gave
Titans
pretty
are
much
about to be a trillion.
my capital weight to my cult members, so
So
Likelihood never sell my Aeon ever.
Jeremy, quick question for
Yeah.
you. As a fleet commander in a large nullsec alliance, Blazing Bunny left. I
Go
was
ahead
gonna
of
ask
ourselves
him,
after that
I was
speech.
gonna ask him this too. But what how do you feel about fielding dreadnoughts in the age of potential price doubling?
I mean, like everyone's gonna be kind of they'll be kind of more wary, especially until the changes come. Until we have like concrete numbers and like speculation on new capital pricing. I think everyone, well, except Dread Bomb, but no Dread, so just Bomb, is going to be really weary about any kind of capital engagement before this change, and then after this change, we can see how it goes. Because the main thing is, right, it's people are calculating the cost, but they're not taking into account the redistribution of these gases and stuff like that, right? So they're saying like 100, billion ISK for a Titan or whatever, but it's not taking into account any kind of industry changes they might do that affects the price of other components in the supply chain, of how the gas is going to be affected, all stuff like that, right? So I think it's always going to go up in price. I think that's the intended effect, is that capitals will go up in price.
Sure.
But by how much and
But
how significant?
I want to talk specifically about your mentality as an FC. How likely, like how much more or less likely would you be to say, all right, let's drop these fucking dreads if they
Well,
doubled in
like
price?
definitely less likely it would be a
Wait, do you have dread keys?
He does not.
You don't have
I
dread
mean,
keys?
I have
Jeremy has
used.
dread keys. Any skirmish FC and test has dread keys.
How about you, Lily? What do you think about this? Do you think you'll be less likely to field these assets if they double in price, or do you think it'll still be worth it to, get them out there and get them killing things?
Changes the equation a little bit. Like you don't want to be as willy nilly in some days as you used to be, right? But like then again, like most of the times, like we've used dreads in the last year, like I can't really think of any of them where I'm like, well, dreads cost that much more, let's not use them, right? Because half the time you're using dreads, you're using dreads with the hope of getting an escalation against other caps, right?
Sure. So it depends on what happens as a result of you using them. So,
I
for
think it
instance,
makes them, if anything, it makes them less usable against subcaps than anything. Because if your enemy has like 500 battleships or something, like if I've got 200 Tempests, like, and you put, Hodreds in the field, I'm just gonna be like, all right, let's, double volley some Hodreds, right? That equation becomes very, very bad very quickly, right?
Sure.
If it's just dreads versus dreads, like I don't think it changes anything. Or caps, like I don't think it changes anything in like the capital warfare because all caps are going up.
Yeah.
But
Well,
the dreads versus subcaps equation, I think it affects that a lot.
so Livia brought up a really good question. So let's say that these changes would have been introduced at the end of the year, and we would have already seen the capital prices double, everything like that. Do you think something like M2 would have ever happened? And the
Yeah.
subsequent breakout where like 400 some dreads were lost to break everything out, would that have gone that same way?
Would the original of M2 have happened? Yes. Would it have changed the way people operated within that battle? Yes. Right? Like, would the break itself happen? Probably yes. Because I don't think the change in valuation of dreads changes the valuation of the first breakout, which was so crucial, right? But like within those battles, you're gonna act a little differently, right? Like, what's the priority to save? What's the priority to like M2 Part 1 was taken because both sides just wanted to go. The question is, would M2 Part 2 have happened, or been as, would we been willing to take those losses that we thought we were going to take to get grid loaded, right? And in that equation, I think probably not, which would have been great for us in the end. But um, it definitely it alters the equation within the field. I don't think it alters the equation of like, will I take battles? Because if you don't take battles, your pilots just won't show up to you, right? And everybody knows that. So it's tricky.
It is
At
tricky.
the end of the day, though, like we're like a lot of this, like kind of panic and stuff is not really directed in a way where we're thinking about, well, okay, if null blocks are going to have X, Y, and Z new components in their space, like, and everything's going to get really expensive, then how much more of an income is that actually going to produce for them? And obviously, CCP wants there to be a disparity there, and there probably will be a disparity, but I don't think that the overall outcome of it is going to be quite as negative as people are thinking right now in the mania.
Question: how do you think this would change super adding and stuff? Because with the current patches, supers are super squishy and super expensive as well. Do you think,
Shit's done. It's over. Super ratting is over.
Well, they said that they're going to buff capital ratting, right, in general. So I
They're
wonder.
gonna make a special site for just capital
Yeah.
that no one will use. Shocker.
I mean, super routing in itself is still very much worth it, just not in the same form it was in fucking Umbrella times. You just max crab fit and make ridiculous ticks.
Yeah, but
Like-
at Quail, there's a huge difference between I'm gonna go rat and delve where a crazy man is watching us for 2.5, 3 years, versus I'm in the middle of the drone lands, safe and secure, way back there where nobody else is at.
I think you're going to run into a lot smarter, like super ratters. Basically, I don't think the dumb ones are going to survive. If that makes any
yeah.
sense.
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying it's not changed, but I
thing.
think it's very much still a thing. Like, especially with DBS, people complaining about it. Like, realistically, you can find a system which is like 130% and make 150 mil ticks. It's great.
They should give Diamond Rat AI to all rats.
No, stop.
Oh, please, no.
Must simply stop right now. Never say things like that again, because if anybody's listening, I do it. So just don't. Anyways, so I think we've pretty much hit the industry changes as hard as I think we needed to hit them. We're coming up on the
Well,
top of
we
the
missed
hour.
the wormhole part.
Oh, no one cares about wormholes.
We have now Nullsec
people
is
don't
gonna
even care
have
about
to
wormhole.
engage with wormhole people.
You
More
guys
than we
didn't
were-
have wormhole people before?
No,
Yeah,
fuck
did you
wormhole.
not?
Did we
Like
do
wormhole people take their shit to Jita, Nullsec brings their empty ships to Jita, buys the stuff at Jita, takes the shit back home, does stuff with it. It's not going to change anything. Like that's what it is right now. If any, I mean, it might increase the cost of some of the things that you get from wormholes, but it's not going to change the relationship. Fucking meerkats.
Meerkats are adorable, cute little weasels. What are you talking about?
No,
I don't care.
Don't
Ron,
they murder each other a lot?
meerkats are a matriarchal society, so they have a breeding pair that leads the group, and then the rest of them all have to not do anything, while only the breeding pair are allowed to have kids, and then they all take care of each other.
go ahead. Show
So
us.
it's down meerkat facts.
Why
Show
do you
us.
know this?
Show us
Because
your
I have a degree in
meerkats. Show us
I have a
your
degree in
meerkats
zoology.
chat.
Like this
Show
is my
us-
Wait, do
thing.
you really? Are you a zookeeper
Yeah.
IRL?
I've done zookeeping, but it doesn't pay the bills. So
Dawn, next Eve meet, we're gonna go to a zoo together. You're gonna tell me all these fun
I've
animal
worked with
facts.
penguins.
Oh my gosh.
Got to pet and cuddle penguins while feeding them fish,
Oh my god.
and baby seahorses and sharks and stingrays and coral and goats. And
Did you say baby sharks?
yeah, baby sharks.
You get to sing the song.
Don't do it because it'll actually get us on Twitch. It'll get the Twitch bot muted.
Oh yeah, right. Don't do that. Wait, will it?
It
No.
won't do
Jeremy,
that.
what are you talking about?
Because it's a copyrighted song, so if it picks it up the lyrics, it'll just mute the VOD to what I'm singing.
It won't. Stop it. Anyways,
Snakes and leopards and chinchillas and stuff.
like I said, we're at the top of the hour, so I'd like to talk a little bit about this little war that we got going on because Don, you came on here specifically to talk to me about what was it?
No, that's what you wanted me to come on here.
Oh,
I'm
no.
here
What you
because
said.
I'm playing Pokemon and I'm here.
So earlier in the guest channel, I said that I wanted to talk about the horrendous campaign of saying that Legacy is more financially impacted by losing stuff in their home regions than the Imperium is. and you said, quote, he does this all the time, redirecting. What does that mean?
You try to like not look at like I don't know. You don't like some of the arguments we have of like or facts or points we bring up and you're like, but that's so rude to talk about. Why would you talk about legacy struggling for money? I'm like, what are you talking about? Why wouldn't we talk about this?
By the way, your
when you were
redline
talking about
impression is
Brave.
your redline impression's on point. Holy shit!
All right.
Imagine him as a
Brave is
little
not
Lego guy.
legacy, just like
It's like the Monopoly
rectangles
man.
aren't all squares.
Wait, Brave
Right.
is like though.
But not
Aren't they?
all
Aren't
Brave.
they head of
All
Ultron?
of Brave is legacy, but not all legacy is Brave. I like Brave more than I like most of the other legacy groups. So when you were coming on talking shit about them, I defended them. I defended their honor, obviously. But realistically,
I
though,
feel like they can handle themselves. So
well, yeah, they can, but they don't come on the show because they're too nice.
Dawn, when you're at a zoo, is it normal to want to eat the animals?
I'm moving you. Goodbye. What a
what?
what a fucking
Steak.
animal. Anyway,
I leave for 5 seconds, and what are we talking about now?
Well,
I don't know.
Steak, essentially, yeah.
I'm talking about all this bullshit that I've been reading everywhere, and like every Discord that I'm a part of, that's saying that your entire coalition is falling apart at the seams because you're losing structures in or not in Esoteria, like in impasse and catch and shit like that, while completely ignoring the fact that their alliance is doing the exact same thing and saying that it's costing you guys more
But
for some reason than it's
But
going to
we're
cost
because
them.
that's
spending.
sort of true, right? Like, so it's important to understand. Like, Legacy is losing way less structures, but the structures we're losing are forcing the movement of members. And anytime members have to move, that's significantly harder on the membership. Whereas the Imperium is losing a lot of structures, but they're just it's the same region where they stage, right? So the loss is different. Like the loss is actually much heavier on the Imperium. Like they're losing keep stars left and right. They're losing way more Sotios, more forts, more everything. But the reality is that our alliances, it's causing the movement of alliances and movement of membership, which means that the impact is heavier. The fact that that was something that was going to have to happen regardless over the course of this war or after this war, is part of the thing that they can take advantage of, right? Because anytime you have to move like that, it creates a weakness. And this is their one kind of shining light. It's like, oh, Legacy's being weakened by move because yeah, we are. Even Brave, who's now starting to recover post move, um, like during that move, everybody could kind of feel that weakness, right? Like when everybody's like leaking logs and they're kind of trying to hit on Brave hard, right? Like they're talking about their money as if Brave is you know poorer than the Imperium, like all of this stuff, right? Like, but that's just part of the spin machine, right?
Topic of moving.
Ping
The
test
Silk Road
to come.
service.
Say again, sorry.
On the topic of moving, the Silk Road service. The Silk
We'll
Road
get there.
service.
We'll get there.
Quite enormous.
Oh, we'll get there. So, but really, the thing that I'm seeing, I'm kicking this person. Hold on one second. The thing that I'm seeing is that people are just like they're constantly saying that the financial situation of Legacy is awful and that they are not being impacted by any of the destruction that's happening in Delve at all. That's what I'm saying. Like that spin machine, I'm trying to slow that down because that's so stupid. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Well, the thing is, it's important to remember that Legacy's still trying to exist and like the Legacy alliances are still trying to exist as alliances, right? They're not sitting in one random keep star and just hold up and not doing anything. We're still trying to like build stuff. We're still trying to rat and mine and do all these things. We're still trying to exist as an alliance. So yeah, like all this stuff is affecting us more. But the Imperium's literally just holed up in their one constellation, and they're like, ha ha ha, look at us, and we're like, okay, we'll get there soon. So like, it's I don't know. It's hard to, how do I put this? There's like that fragment of truth, right? But it's also like obviously spun. So I don't know how to go over it.
Well, let's let Don go over it. So, like, Don, can you explain it to me just in the simplest terms that you can? Because apparently my brain is very smooth. Why this is something that, like, like the Imperium isn't being impacted by?
By losing structures?
Yeah.
I mean, some individuals that maybe had a hand in this particular structure that went up would be annoyed or hurt or whatever. But we're in a defensive war. We've been at this for months. The difference in morale is we know we're gonna lose stuff. We've been losing stuff for months. Like, it's not a shocker. It's not new. Ooh, you killed a couple keep stars in 1 week. Like, yeah, it would be really nice to not lose that. But at the end of the day, we know that it's gonna happen. So say, okay, what's the worst that's gonna happen? We lose a building. Okay, damn. You know, that's why we have 1DQ set up the way we do, that you can build anything you really want to in 1DQ.
Okay. So
The
if
difference
that's
is
there we go. Difference. What's the difference?
okay, so the difference is Brave was fully expecting to stay and catch for at least a while, because they wouldn't have cored every fucking structure that they were quote unquote needed with if they were planning on moving anytime soon, or leave Quirius, let it go fallow, and then come back. You know, Fed Up and Requiem and Warped Intentions and all the other little teeny tiny guys over there didn't have a plan on moving. So morale wise, it's more hurtful knowing that you have to leave because you can't hold it. And your only option to not run out of money trying to fight for it or have no way to build more ships is you have to leave. Daddy Test ain't coming to save you out in Bumfuckistan. Your only option is to follow the rest of the cavalry and
Can I make
hide
it?
up in
Is it
period
though?
bases in Paragon.
Can I make
Is
it?
it? Because look at the Z kill activity charts between Brave and all that by percentage rise. Like
Stop.
percent of active
Stop
by
this.
percent.
He asked me questions, not you.
Can I make a slightly better argument for you, Don?
Sure. I'm
Okay.
drunk. I don't care.
No, you
So
cannot make a slightly better argument for Don. Don can
Why
make her
can't I?
own arguments.
Yeah, but that's not. She's not actually touching
I'll pass the
on
baton for a
like. So
second.
she's giving you an easily dunkable thing. Whereas what I would say is that the Imperium is built up of many corps and many alliances, and so thus the loss of structures, while profound, are felt by many people. Many people are carrying that burden. Whereas in the if you look at Brave, that's the particular burden of like one group of individuals having a bad time. Like that is the difference. Are either of those groups having a good time? I don't know. Maybe Brave is having a great time now. No fucking idea. But it did look like cracks were forming back then. That was a lot of herf and warfing, probably a lot of fucking Reddit bullshit and whatever. At the end of the day, I think that is literally the difference is that the Imperium is feeling, yes, an extreme amount of pressure, but it's being carried on the shoulders of many people. That's a better argument, in my opinion, than like
Legacy
what Don was
is
saying.
a number of forget corporations like alliances together, right? So
Keep in mind, I don't care about what the reality of this conversation is. Like, I just wanted to make a better argument. So that's it. There you go.
I feel like that adds to it, but the gist of the story is like Fed Up and Warped and Brave and them were not expecting to move anytime soon, and now they've got to watch their SOTOs die. I mean, Brave literally bragged about how they were able to core all of their structures that they needed to, which I know wouldn't necessarily be all of them, but it'd be most of them, right? They cored all of their important structures at the beginning of January, only to move and have most of them, if not all of them, killed or looted by either us or by a third party.
I mean, wasn't
we have
the
That's
whole
really a
what we
surprise, though. I mean, like that's what it baffles me is that you guys talk as if, oh my god, it's a surprise.
but
Surprise.
it's
Well,
we knew that was going to happen,
It
but it's
happened.
once again Brave didn't seem to think it was going to happen.
well,
Why
no,
would
isn't
you
this the
take
whole thing?
all of your shit if you know you're going to move? Why not just do the bare minimum?
So
The
here's
whole thing about Stuffers came out with the that big Reddit post about all this, right?
who?
The big Reddit post a few weeks back about the Brave logistics leaks and all that and whatever, and
Oh.
Well, that was a bunch of right. So at the same time, it's like if any alliance is going to pretend, or even a corporation is going to pretend like there aren't candid conversations that aren't always super hype and positive about shit, then they're fucking lying. And I mean that is literally what Mittens tried to do on the Meta Show. But come on, it's like no, we talk to each other much nicer than that. I'm like, I fucking bet, dude. Have you ever been on some of their fucking forums? Anyway, that was what the argument was. And again, I don't think that was a particularly good argument either. By the way.
So
Pessimistic person, probably.
I think my biggest question though is that how can it be such a huge surprise and something that is like super inconvenient for them, but then it's just casualties of war for you? Because realistically, what it
We're
seems like,
defending ourselves.
I got it.
They
But a few months ago, somebody sat on a Twitch channel and gave a fireside speech where they said that the goons would fight for that they would make us bleed for every single inch of space that we've taken, every single structure, every single timer, every single thing that we tried to do in Delve would be contested and we would not be successful. And I have looked at the map, I have logged into some of the systems in Delve, and god damn it, we look like we're being pretty successful. So I don't know how anybody can say that
Still contested.
Stop it. I don't know how anybody can say that this is a surprise to these guys, but not a surprise to you when your god, king, emperor, whatever the fuck you want to call him, literally screamed out loud that this would never happen. And here it is happening. Your keep stars are dying uncontested. Most of your structures have died uncontested. You're fighting 2-3 times a week in Delve. Your FCs are so burnt out that they'd rather do uncontested structure bashes in an entirely different region than defend the shit that you guaranteed would be defended. How is this not a surprise to you that the largest group prior to Pappy that said they were going to defend everything is not defending anything? Like, I don't get it.
Things change. Have you fought somebody 3, 4, 5 times your size?
Hold on. Let's not
No.
buy into
Yes.
Of
Let's
course
not
I
buy into
have.
this
What do you mean?
If you look at the big BRs, right? So the past few leaks, I can tell you that it's the HCAQ fight over that Antiplex and the Netty Jamers. I think we outnumbered you by like 300. You had 700. We had like 300 more than you. The fight over 319 Astra House, we had the exact same numbers, like down to like with it's like 10, I think. In terms of like average everyday fights, you all put up almost equal to equal numbers to us, right? In terms
Didn't
of
we win that Astra House dropping fight?
You did.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Well, to be
Numbers
fair,
are even. We kicked your ass.
to be fair, there was a time where you guys were fielding less than the goons for a bit after M2 at least. Morale was a little bit low, and so we can either say, yeah, goons are breaking, or we could also say that, the war will take swings and there's
But
momentum
why would
shifts.
morale be low in goons if all of this was expected? Like, if
M2
you're
was not
expecting to lose all of your shit, then
Oh,
you
I
don't
think is
get
losing.
sad when you lose all of your shit.
Well,
You just
losing.
lose
No,
all
no,
your
I think you
shit and
do.
move on because you've already prepared to lose it.
Losing still sucks, dude. Like, no matter what. Like, if you've ever played sports, right? It's like, well, we're probably not going to win against this team, but let's fucking go out there and give it our all. And you really come together and you really give it a try and you still fucking lose. It sucks. We expected we're probably going to lose. We're going to give it our best shot. It still fucking sucks. Like, you can't, if you're a competitive person, it fucking sucks.
Well, sure, losing sucks all the time, but my entire point here is that there are people that will stand on top of whatever mountain they can find and scream out across the land that there is no financial impact on anything that's happening in Delve right now for the Imperium. And that is such utter horseshit that I can't stand to see it.
Well, from what
Because
I can
it's
So
not true at all.
Hold on. What financial impact do you think it's having? Like,
What financial
is it just that
impact
we
is what's
forced-
happening in Legacy
Hold on.
Space?
Is
What's
it
the
just because
financial
we've
impact
already
in Legacy
spent?
Space right now?
They don't have any. They don't have anything set up, and they have to spend all the new current stuff.
Query
You're right.
Okay,
We are
and
gonna
what
at some
do
point.
you have set up right now? A
We currently have
constellation?
a working. We currently still have a completely working super capital building area,
At-
along with regular caps and regular subcap.
At what percent index though?
Oh, I don't know. I don't do anything of that. Don't ask
Okay.
me those
So
questions.
other than one constellation of space where you have things, you have nothing else. You have no infrastructure. Your largest structures are currently dying, which I'll admit I'll take the L on the fact that those are probably crab and keep stars, and if nobody's going to be super ratting anymore, there's not real need for
No,
them,
that
except
eight
for
are-
fortifying the region. But the thing is that the exact same impact that this would have on Legacy is going to be had on the Imperium at some point or another. All of this shit has to be replaced, and I'm not convinced that there's thousands of structures sitting in Tuzzy's hangar ready to be dropped at a moment's notice.
You don't think so?
I
wanna
hope
bring
not.
it up.
I can guarantee we
the
picked
ARQ
up a good portion of our buildings before you guys ever got to Dell.
There's both truth and untruth to that, right?
is-
So there's a fair chunk of, like, I would say there's a small alliance for the structures that were picked up, right? Like, probably a couple keeps and one or two Sotillo, maybe in 3 or 4, like, some forts, a bunch of
You
factory
saw
forts.
how many Sotios we had in just one system. We had like 4 or 5 in one system. What
Yeah, we
makes you
killed 4 or
think we
5 in
don't
one
have
system.
10? Yeah. What makes you
Because
think we don't have
alliances-
just 10 hanging out?
Central alliances don't stock Sotillos. It's just not something, like, why
We
would a
also
Central Alliance point ever stock a Sotillo?
Why not? Maybe
There's
because
no
we've had this happen before and we like to be prepared. We have 2 or 3,000
Okay, Dawn.
Athenors hanging out. Because trust me, I know how many Athenors we picked up.
If you
before
guys
you
were
guys ever got
putting money into fucking Sotillos to hold on to, you guys spend your money even worse than imagined. Like, let's be clear.
Those aren't even that expensive. It's the rigs that are expensive.
Right. So do you think you guys also have like $1 trillion-esque worth of salvage just sitting around?
I mean, it depends if you want T1 or T2. T1's not that bad. T2 is where it's really expensive. But the difference in cost is may not be worth it, especially in emergency. Where you're like, shit, we got to get buildings down now.
This comes from a non-builder.
What? Like,
I don't know.
nobody. You don't stock like. You're making my brain hurt. Like, all of the structures that are getting destroyed are not getting put back up. Like, let's be clear here, right? Like, maybe 10% at best, from unanchored structures are there. It's just reality. Nobody's sitting on Tech 2 Sotillo rigs. Nobody's sitting on a big pile of Tech 1 Sotillo rigs. Like, maybe you have 1 or 2. Maybe you've got enough salvage to build 1 or 2 more. That's like 4 Sotillo rigs. And if you have anything more than that, then you're being like mentally not smart, because those fucking kind of items should be sitting in capitals right now if you have any common sense, right? Like, or your beloved, finance team has any common sense, I would assume. So when we destroy all this stuff, it removes the ability for goons to ever extract the wealth of Delve ever again the way it was before. And obviously, as we continue to purge the region, it continues to increase the islanding effect. It reduces the ability to harass. It reduces the mobility of you as attackers within the region. And bit by bit, all of this, cements into this incredibly problematic situation that is going to only get worse and worse.
It's like you said you've lived in Delve before, right? It's like you don't know how Delve works.
Tell me
What
what
do
I
you mean
don't
by
know, Dawn.
mobility? What do you mean by mobility?
Okay, so you
Moving
want to
around
go.
Delve is
Well, so
insane.
let me explain that. You said, what do I mean by mobility? So let's say you go bridge some stuff into 39p, right? You know 39p area, right?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay, so 39p is a closed constellation. You have no structures in that constellation. You bridge in. I now camp the 40 tack gate in 39p. How do you guys get home?
Spring. I mean, it depends on what we're bringing in. Are you talking about like full
Pick any
subcap?
doctrine that's not covert bombers. And you know what? Even pick covert bombers. How do you
Covert
get home?
bombers is super easy. You can just move around
Right.
like crazy with covert.
But every other doctrine, tell me how you're going to get out of the constellation that you have no fucking structures in, while we have
You
like a
act
jumper
like
and
you act like y'all will just sit there forever. You will not.
Why not?
Oh, so you're
Literally.
so your
Okay,
plan
we'll just
for increased
bum
mobility
rush
is
the
we'll just make them we'll wait them out every single time.
No, there is no plan for increased mobility. The best that I can tell is the plan is they're gonna throw some subcaps around and whatever, and let you guys hopefully tire yourselves out. And if that doesn't happen, then they Hail Mary with some Titans and hope that they win. I think is probably what the plan at this point is, and people feel like they can win. I don't know why that's the case, but that's what they
We had a
feel.
bit of a
So
hiccup in M2 Part 2, so I mean, if you're going
right,
on past experience, they can be like, well, we won last one. It's like, that's fair, you did.
right. But then they lost that one where they tried to do the cool boson maneuver, the N-ho, is that what we're
Yes,
calling
they've
it?
lost
to be
they've lost 2 of the 4 Super Cat battles in the war.
Right.
One
And I
to be
was
one
fair,
draw.
that particular instance,
They lost
nobody
those
would know
2
that that's how
vendettas.
things will
I'd
work that way.
proudly can I just say I was involved in the 2 where we won, so God bless. I guess I picked my battles.
Like,
But so it's about increased mobility. It increases the pressure on your logistics bit by bit, and it
actually,
increases.
you destroying buildings reduces pressure on our logistics because we don't have to fuel as much. So
That's
our logistics team is actually, straining for things to do because there's less to fuel. So
that's
you're
why we
honestly
can't
helping
get
them take a
even
break.
get a random gunner to most structures we're shooting.
I don't know that. I don't
They didn't
gun
have to fuel
structure.
to begin with. They were all set at max fuel.
Yeah, you
We're
told me there
killing
was a
stuff.
year worth of fuel in every structure in Delve. That's what I was told.
Probably is. Or close.
So this is
So
It
then they
has
don't need
been
to fuel
10
them.
months. It has been 10 months. So
it has been a
Fair
long time.
enough. Do you think anybody's putting new fuel in any of the structures in Delve right now?
Fuck, it
No.
better not be.
it depends on how close it is. I will say
Yeah,
y'all
so
were
if
like
it's
at one
That
so
point in
fuel-
inside one
December,
constellation, you could have some fuel.
got a
Outside,
point.
no.
That fuel is
December.
reserved for evacing and evacing
Hold on.
only.
For
Not
emergency
even-
start. No.
No one better be fueling this motherfucker.
In December, y'all were like, "Oh my god, look at all these abandoned Athenors in Delve," and you all were thinking like it was a big deal. What happened is we all have
Okay,
kind of
let's
like
be clear here. That was a big deal. You let 1,000. You intentionally abandoned 1,000 Athenors.
no, here's what happens. Okay, so we have rental cycles on our moons, right? So I was in the A group, one of the first people to rent a moon, A group, and then we had B groups and then C groups, just kind of based upon when things became available or big drives or whatever. And most people would throw a year of fuel in at the same time. Well, the B groups, their year was December. And people just decided not to put fuel in
For
because moons were
1,000 fucking Athenors?
Yes, and that was only like a tenth of the Athenors we had a fifth of the Athenors we had in Delve. Yes, I'm not kidding.
That was a third of all the structures in Delve at the time.
And
right.
that,
We picked up a bunch.
I don't
by the
think that's
way,
it.
that by the way had
I
no
know a lot about
financial
you.
impact on the Imperium. Just so we're all
That's like
clear.
I mean,
that's
I
insane
already
to
made
me.
my money back. I already
Like,
made
wait,
my
wait,
money
wait.
back on anything I put down.
Don, you're saying there are 3,000 structures or 5,000
There
structures
were
in Delve?
5,000
At the start of the war, there
That
was
is
4,000 structures in
that is fucking
Imperium
insane.
space.
How does CCP not look like Imperium can do it all they want, any other group can do that, but how does CCP not look at that and think, wow, this is a really balanced and engaging gameplay
that was on
Well,
every
the thing is, you got to
most
remember,
people
Rain,
were
CCP was looking at them. They were like, this is fucked up. And then they're like, Billy,
that
we need a
was on
guardian
Moon.
angel. Clear Delve.
No,
Stop
fuck
right
you,
now.
Billy.
Yeah, that's what I heard too, though. That's what I heard.
See, I was right. The war was a conspiracy. It was a
Billy was
conspiracy
like,
the whole
Billy
time.
just lifting weights. He's like, I'm in retirement, and he's like, we need you out of retirement, Billy. We need you to do this one last thing. And he's like,
This is one last ride.
right.
No,
Puts on his
okay.
sunglasses. Explosion.
That's like insane.
Fucking...
Like, I don't blame
To be
players
clear-
for it, right? Because players can do whatever the fuck they want. But the fact that
But
that's even allowed blows my fucking mind. Like, why?
You have to have an Athenor on a moon.
Because
Yeah,
it's a
right.
sand,
That's
it's a
fine.
sandbox.
That's fine.
Moons
But there are
had- moons had
not
ores.
5,000 moons or 4,000 moons in Delve.
I thought moons only for the ore. I didn't want moon goo because moon goo was a pain in the butt to move around and annoying. And most moons that had moon goo were R4s. They were bullshit at the time.
Look-
Man, I really wish I had mined that fucking shit now, right?
They,
So-
Question here real quick. How are goons going to get the materials to keep their capital production up in Delve after this new update, aside
They
from just
have them
Like,
Why would
already.
you say that?
yeah, like this dummy.
Important
Caches
question.
on
If you
caches, dude.
buy it from Jita. If there's ever a question of supply, buy it from Jita. Literally.
Or it's Moon Goo, right? Though it's R4
Yeah,
Moon.
if you mine it, buy it from Jita.
You are correct,
I know
Reed.
someone that has the entire. He has enough stock of a specific moon goo type that's prevalent in Delve that could supply the entire game for a year within one person's hangar.
Okay. Yes.
Do you remember?
Goo. Wow.
You remember when I talked about how
Yes.
they fucked Lowsec and took all the R64s away and stuff?
Like-
I'm pretty sure they just put them in Delph.
It'll be fine. That's why I'm not worried about these changes.
Okay.
Honestly, it'll be fine. It'll work itself out here. But no, honestly, that whole like, oh, a bunch of Athenors went abandoned in December all at the same time. Once again, honestly, was because all of us either didn't care about or didn't want to or forgot to refuel our moons. Since, at that time is when you started hitting Delve, it's like, we're not mining these things anyways. Who cares?
Well, I can tell you who probably did care is all the people that lost all their shit that was in those Athenors. There was a lot of
There
jackpot
wasn't that.
Athenors.
Okay, well, that's their private shit then. If they didn't, literally that Moongu had been sitting there for probably 7 to 9 months minimum. So that means that they completely forgot about it or didn't care about it.
Ratio,
I know
did
that
you-
I fucking thousands of worth of R4s just kind of randomly in places. So.
How many of those Athenors did you get post with core? Most of them, or
Well, the
Well,
1,000
I
abandoned
don't-
ones were post or pre-core changes,
Pre-core.
right? This was like November, I think, when they
Okay,
let them
that's
all
what
go
I thought we were
abandoned.
talking about. Yeah.
I lost all 24 of mine.
But
So.
those aren't you.
But I'll just buy more.
At that point, right? Because they went to asset safety.
Where are you gonna put them? And is that not gonna be a financial impact to you to buy more
I'm in
Athenors?
high tech.
Listen, I made plenty of money off of all my moons beforehand, so it's okay. It's worth the money.
Fuck, just because you have the money doesn't mean it's not a financial impact. That's the
Also-
point I'm trying to make here. Jesus.
Oh my God, no one cares about your point, Redline.
I'm gonna have a
Like minerals are all free
I will
because you mine them. It's free.
Yeah, because I might know. Honestly, what I did is I made a group of friends. We would pay for the moons together and use them together. And then surprisingly, at least 2 of them got blacklisted and 2 of them quit. So, I didn't have to pay for all of my moons. Somebody else paid for them and I just got to use them.
That sounds shady.
Your friends. Oh,
I know,
God.
right?
Blacklisted your friends.
Two of the people that bought it on my moons got blacklisted for other
Glory.
shit, but it was funny. They paid for the moons and then like 3 months later they got blacklisted. So it's like, oh sweet.
Did you have direct link to the person who blacklists people? Mhm.
Well,
Mhm.
yeah, I do technically.
That kind of link would be like 5 weeks of propaganda against Villy. If it was.
Yeah, it would have been, wouldn't it? That's funny.
No, it's honestly, as I said, we all forgot to and or didn't care about it because we've already made our money off of those Athenors. They had made moons such bullshit anyways. Like they took all the ore off, so all my moons turned into crap. So I didn't really care about them anymore. The way to unrent your moon was to just let it go without fuel, and eventually they would take it back and then put it up for re-renting. So that's why we all forgot to and or chose not to fuel them.
Roast muffin.
That's the way you did it. Made it easy.
You win. You win.
I took the fuel out of our structures on purpose because I
You
thought,
win. It's simple. Like I can't come up with anything that is more clear than the presented facts. So I'm just not going to. You
lost last
No,
time.
no, you were whining about our messaging.
Who was
Yeah,
whining
about
your
how
messaging?
you were. Anyway, you didn't like that we said we were going to defend everything and now we're not. Well, things change, but things happen. You have to go with the flow. Mitten says one
God.
thing, and sometimes
I
new things
hate you
have to happen.
so much right now because you
Why?
you're literally
Some agreeable?
you are making my argument for me, but you refuse to see it. And I am so frustrated. How are you guys doing this to me? I'm normally so hard to frustrate, yet here I said,
You're just mad that I'm not being like, of course we're going to defend everything, blah, 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 blah.
No,
no, she
no,
hasn't.
I'm not. I'm mad because I'm
hasn't.
presenting an argument and you are presenting the exact same argument and then turning around and telling me that I am wrong. And I am so confused. I am
We're
so
saying it in a negative way. We're saying it in a positive way.
I just
No,
I
Redline, that's not what she's saying at all. What she's saying is that you are wrong.
You
I
are
c-
wrong.
I can't.
Goons are gonna lose no matter what.
If you look
I
at it
s-
from her point of view, you'd understand that you're wrong.
Even if
Listen,
we
I
get kicked
mean,
out
in the
the
end,
first bag, we go to
D-
NPC Delta. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
I
Everything
mean,
will
in
be
the end,
okay.
what Don said is correct, right? Things change, and what Matani said one week doesn't matter the next week. So, I mean, obviously, you just
Except
kind of
that
go with the flow.
But-
one thing, though.
but
Am I
is
right,
that-
boys?
Is
After
that
10
not
10 months of war, if you don't go with the flow, you're gonna have a real big problem.
is that not
Because
by
things
proxy what you're saying that Legacy isn't doing is going with the flow? You're
No, that's what all
saying
the all the
applies-
industrialists
what
and Eve are doing is not going with the flow right
applies
now.
to me does not apply to them.
See, that
You're not
is
going with the flow. Get it.
okay. I'm muting my microphone.
No,
Goodbye.
why are they not going with the flow? How? Why is that? That's not a thing.
So we had a big fight, right? Or like RC had a big fight recently, right? Redline's
They did.
broken, so let's move on.
Are you trying to segue for Redline? Oh, that's cute.
Wrecking Crew,
He's
Wrecking
broken,
Crew
so
Bomb get backstabbed by Imperium.
All right, so hopefully this is the point in the fucking show where we can all get the shit talk back
How
online.
could
Oh no,
you
Dunk's here now.
Yeah,
God
yeah,
damn it.
Oh, we're screwed. Okay.
How do we
If you
backstab
behave,
Loki if we're not even working together?
Dunk, unfortunately you missed respectful rhetoric for the last 1.5 hours of this show. I'm just kidding, dude.
I got a
Welcome
question for
Dunk
Just
Dinkle to
yawn.
the show.
Hello.
hey, Don.
Rain about industry, but you may have already talked about it.
Got a
We
queen
did.
bee?
Not correctly, but we did.
That's really
We talked about it
exciting.
a little bit.
You can talk about it a little bit more if you want.
Well, there was a feral queen in my hive. I had to get out because it was super aggressive and trying to sting Mrs. Dinkle. So I finally got the feral queen caught tonight and replaced it with a new queen with good genetics. So that's the excitement.
Is she
Is
a
that what
part
you're
Is there
trying to
bloody
do with
civil war?
Dylan too?
How does one replace a queen, Dunk? Like, do you go to the bee store and get a new bee, like, or
You
bee
actually
mechanics?
can.
Actually,
And the workers will take a new
Yeah.
queen.
You can order them online and get a whole new queen.
No,
See if she
the-
works.
the workers will take a new queen. That's a truth.
Okay, I'd like to
If
hear
you
the
get one-
expert.
Yeah.
Can we hear the expert talk
So
about
you're
the bees,
saying
please?
pick out Matani and get a new queen?
What's the answer, Doug? I'd really like to know.
So yeah, you can get queens with good genetics from like either mail order, but I have a local source and people that do bees professionally imported some from Hawaii where they have really good queens. So I drove up there, picked it up this morning, and then found the feral bee or feral queen, and then took her out, and then put the new queen in her little cage, and I'll give it about a week of them getting used to her pheromones, and then I'll release her into the hive. So.
Why
That's
why
interesting.
do
I didn't know.
Hawaiian beans like have better temperaments or genetics or
Have you
however
seen
you
them or
put it?
not?
Chill. Have you been to Hawaii?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It just depends on
So-
the local environment of how they have to protect themselves.
Well, what you want is when you raise the queen, when she's the virgin queen, she goes out on a mating flight. And if you can kind of control most of the drones that she might mate with by being kind of isolated and remote, then you have a higher chance of getting the genetics. So in Hawaii, they have people raising bees in places kind of away from everything where most of the drones are the right genetics that they want. So they they do it out there. There's a couple other places that are kind of remote that they do raising queens.
Dude, that's
Who
fucking
with the old
dope.
queen?
Well,
She died.
The experienced beekeepers, they just pinch her and kill her with their hands. But I tried to be merciful and dunked her in isopropyl alcohol, so it was instantaneous.
Oh, she got drunk first. That's good.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, I really don't like
Oh,
that part, but her genetics are very aggressive, and we have neighbors next door with children, so I can't have aggressive bees in our neighborhood.
Kind of like
Now, well,
trade.
is it her pheromones that make the other bees aggressive, or just her offspring?
No, it's the genetics. So in the
Sure.
wild, you want aggressive bees because they can fight off enemies and things that are attacking them and things like that. But when you raising them in your backyard, you want calm bees. So those genes are the ones that help them when they're feral, but they don't help them when you want to have them in your backyard.
You can have domesticated chill bees.
Well, that's the whole thing is the
That's
gene
what
lines for calm bees are what people want.
Yeah, that's what domesticated means in terms of bees, is you want calm ones.
Do you
I
sell
just
your
love
honey?
that Dunk.
For
I
yourself.
love that Dunk is a beekeeper, and
Okay,
I keep snakes.
You keep snakes?
I have a snake. I've had multiple snakes, but I have one right now.
Like you
Doug.
Pictures.
If I learned anything from this conversation, is that we need to dunk the Matani in alcohol and get a new queen from Hawaii. Perfect.
Our hive would not accept a new queen
from Hawaii,
unless
we
it
might.
was the right queen.
You're
We
from
need-
Hawaii.
You don't have much of a hive left, to be fair.
You guys have been prepping the brisk queen for quite a while, I'm pretty sure.
I mean,
Brisk would not be our queen.
could
It would
you
be Merkle
imagine?
Channing, you know it.
Either way, the goons get a lot fucking happier. Like, holy shit! Can you imagine the meta show when it's just Brisk and Merkelchen? Like,
So
it'd be adorable.
the funny thing is, if the hive loses the queen, let's say she just dies or gets squished or something like that, the hive will make a quote emergency queen to take over, and that queen appears, and then she has to take over where the old queen was in a kind of irregular pattern, which is basically the CEO of Brave would happen to be.
Interesting.
So industry, bring it back to Eve. Were there questions, or was it? I don't know what you guys wanted to talk about.
There
as
was
far as
information and we didn't know any of it.
I was saying that the industrialists were getting, well, not the industrial. Okay, so sorry. The mania that has been presented, or not even presented, that is actually like literally occurring right now, especially in like the JITA market, but just generally, there are a lot of not so happy people that I talk to industrialists. They're super unhappy. Like, my position is that things are never as bad as the industrialists ever really think there are when we have major industrialist overhauls, and that things will probably look better in the morning. Will they hurt momentarily while the scarcity phase is happening? Yes, but more than likely that outcome, the anger is probably going to be generated by the higher end PvP dudes in alliances that are not huge, who are going to have to either fork out lots of money for like faction things or just get in drakes or something.
But wasn't the scarcity period like this entire last year?
Yeah, and I think it's going to continue.
Not
I think
over, I would
that's
think.
what we're still in scarcity, I
just like
believe, from what everyone said. No one's like, "Hey guys, let me give you a bunch of free shit, money, money, money." Like, we're continuously getting more shit pulled away from us, and it's been this way for the last year. And it has it been great? No, I think it's fucking sucked. But at the same time, it's like I don't think the sky is falling. But every time there's an industrialist change, I know this is a very different industry change than what might normally happen. But every time there is an industry change, the sky is falling anyway. So that's my position, and I'm sticking with it.
Well, I think it's a two-edged thing. So definitely for the more advanced the industry you get, they made it more complex. There's more blueprints, more complexities in the reactions and the blueprints you have to make for the components. So definitely that kind of inconvenience level for industry is going up, and especially with hauling things like wormhole gases around, it can be a pain. On the other hand, as I have said about industry, when they raise the cost of the things that go into things you sell, you're also raising your profit percentage on everything you sell. So now that like dread guns are crazy expensive right now, and I make them, I make more profit off of a dread gun now than I ever have in the past. It's a little harder to get all the morphite I need, but there's profit to be made, but it's also just more time that you as an industrialist at the higher end have to spend. And that eventually will translate not just in the material costs, but in the headache cost into what these things go for, especially the capitals, supers.
But do we know that the business model is sustainable? Like, aren't people gonna jump in less dreads?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know the math on that. That's for like a combat FC or a coalition level FC. They make those decisions. I never do those
Sorry,
calculus. I just show up in the ship they tell me to show up in.
what was the question? Will we jump in less dreads? Is that what
Are
the question
people
was?
gonna undock less and therefore lose less and therefore not generate demand? Is the question.
Well, I would say this. I like what I said when asked this question earlier in the show was that from a low sec ish perspective, I do null sec stuff too, and I've been in null sec groups before. I would personally look for more meaningful engagements. Like it wouldn't just be, okay, these dreads are trash and throwaway. We're going to probably look for meaningful times to use them, but we are going to use them, versus the nullsec perspective exclusively is probably something like, oh my god, they might have dreads too. We don't know. We're scared. Okay, let's just not do anything. Blue balls. And it could lead to that. Or, as Villy pointed out, it probably is not going to matter that much, because when you're killing dreads and they're killing dreads, you're killing the same number on paper ish. So it's probably fine. Like you just salvage. Like if you win the fight, you get to salvage the racks. Like at the end of the day, like it sucks that dreads are going to go up in price, or caps are going to go up in price, or super caps are going to go up in price. Um, I think CCP probably wants to limit the amount of people who have supers and titans. I don't know if CCP necessarily wants to limit the amount of people who have dreads necessarily, and I mean maybe they do. But if I'm going to go into a dread brawl and our dreads all cost the same, it's at the same it's the same point that we're at now, in my opinion. I mean, and like I said before, if you get all of these new materials in your nullsec area, you're going to be making a probably a little bit more revenue if these things that you takes to build a dreadnought are super expensive or super overpriced, and that's why dreadnoughts are overpriced. Like I think we're going to find a way to make it hurt a little bit less than people are thinking. And I think that that's what Eve players do the best
Well,
overall.
we'll see. We'll see what it is. It's so complex, and I've talked to a lot of the serious industry folks, and it's just even for the serious to wrap our heads around exactly how it's all gonna play out. There's just too many variables, and then also this variable that we really don't know is there's a bunch of drops that are required for the higher end stuff like the supers and titans, and we don't know the frequency of those drops, right? Like sometimes a drop is worth billions, and sometimes a drop is worth 5,000.
Well, maybe that's
And
a good point for
we just don't know what the drop rate is going to be. So there's just too many unknowns to declare it one way or the other. I don't know the calculus on. Hey, I want to support my fleet, my reasonably sized fleet, with a fax. If that fax used to be 3 billion and now it's 10 billion, like is that going to change the way not just big dread bombs go, but the use of capitals in general? Like, is it going to make sense to carry a rat or dread rat if your potential loss is higher?
Well, look, like dreads have gone up substantially in the last couple of months, right? We can all agree on that. And like my group has continued to use them, and my group has continued to lose them as well, right? Like we lost a
Oh
bunch just the
yeah.
other day. So I mean, at the end of the day, the other side lost a bunch too, though. Like so it's whatever. Like I don't know. It's not ideal. But if we all have to get into Drakes, then like I guess that's what we're gonna do, right? Like at the end of the day.
And I think the other thing to remember is that this isn't the end of the changes. They've talked very clearly that they want to change the way resources appear, right? That some sort of redistribution or reallocation or something is going to be very different about the way resources are made available across all the high sec, low sec, null sec. And so that's coming. And then they may change other parts of industry. This was just ships. They may change modules or ammo or other things like that, or rigs, or I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of changes coming, and to be completely super boosterific or super Debbie Downer, we just don't know enough right now. I mean, maybe by the middle of summer we'll have a better idea of how it's playing out. But right now, it's just it's got to fix my spreadsheets time.
Yeah,
I
I
just
mean,
hope they want to finish tier aside before they start going and doing modules, just so that they have everything as they want it module wise before they start fucking about with industry.
Dear
Just have
God.
to see the cloaking and carrier rating changes personally.
I just hope they put some of the new drops in data sites because I do Explo a lot and they need some serious love.
Oh yeah, Expo needs some, and Expo definitely needs love. I think Expo's really good in terms of like skill intensity. It's one of those things where you can be good at it and not have to put a lot of like SP into it. It's good for new bros to learn and to kind of do something with the game, but it's just right now anything that's not like a C5 wormhole site is it's okay money. I mean, it's decent money, but it's not like it doesn't really ever turn out to be good money.
I think it's just inconsistent.
A better word, yeah.
I mean, like you can spend 3 hours in nullsec doing relic sites and find shit, and then you find one that's worth like 150 mil, but it's a crapshoot.
Well, that was my 2 cents about industry. But I don't know. Are there
Are
other
you
questions people had, or
Don't
are you
quit shit talk.
excited? Oh, shit talk?
All right, fuck industry. Just kidding.
Yo, did you hear, Dunk? I heard Brave fucking smoked the shit at W6V Keepstars tonight, fucking pounding that shit. What do you say?
oh yes, it's quite nice. I hope to scoop a nice core when that thing pops. It'll be very nice to address Matani's concern about our wealth when we get that core.
So when we take the core from the 2 Keepstars and PTEC C and IRE won't and what GTEC E won't mean anything?
Whoa, Don, do you think you guys are gonna take those cores?
Yeah, I think
You're gonna get
mean,
that far?
I think that's a.
Here's the
You'll be
thing.
able to
Here's,
move your
here's,
To be fair,
that
Grandma might get it. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I think that's a
Somebody's-
reach. I think
well,
that's
I
a
think
Halo
here's
reach
maybe
for
someone
the
on Imperium's
Xbox
side
360 if I've ever heard one.
could clear this up for me because I'm not clear. Does holding solve and losing structures matter, or does it not matter?
It only
Because
matters
it
whenever
seems
I
it
hit
seems
it.
very a flexible position about whether solve and structures matter anymore.
It's like we're playing a game of soccer and the goalposts just keep moving.
It's like playing
like that.
Twister, okay? Whatever rules you come up with.
And they change.
You
Super
play
Mario
games
win.
like Twister.
Oh,
I don't know.
play
I've actually read the rules and they suck. I don't know how anybody gets
I
confused.
thought you were supposed to play Twister when you were drunk, when you were dating and stuff
For sure,
like that.
yeah.
Who follows the rules with Twister?
No.
You hang out at Serenities, right?
I mean, it's easy to kill a Keepstar when like no one's there. So
Yeah, why is no one there?
We're doing other things.
yeah,
Like Such what? as?
Tethering
She's
and
playing Pokemon. I'm using.
It's true. We decided
I thought we were supposed
to
to
move
tell the
out
truth.
because
It's true.
F2O was going down, so we're like, we don't want to get completely cut off with our shit, so we just moved over.
You mean you might have reduced mobility?
I don't think that's true.
Listen, my Black Ops is still in position, and if I want to go over there anytime I want, I can kick ass over there if I want to. Just because I haven't, it doesn't mean I can't.
Are you trying to imply that having less structures might affect your tactical options?
No.
Of course
No,
not.
okay.
Of course not.
If I'm gonna put a Titan in the middle of W6V in the middle of space, I certainly can. Good sir.
It wouldn't be wise, but you could.
I don't know if it'd be a good idea, but I could do it.
Easy.
be one dead Titan.
Hey, I mean, well, here's another thing, right? With the new industry, like I was going on this before, but Dunk, who is more versed in industry than any of us probably. How do you think
That's
that the industry index in 1DQ being maxed out is going to affect? So is it?
Jeremy, do you know how industry indexes even work?
Well, that's why I'm asking the question.
Because the T5Z index is higher than the fucking 1DQ index.
Well, we have more.
Like you're
structures.
self-owning us before you even start your fucking like.
Well, we have more. We have more industry. We have other places to do industry besides T5. They don't really have anywhere else besides 1DQ too.
Oh, it's
That's
not how
where
it
you're
works,
wrong.
man.
Okay, well
You
then
are
I
wrong.
really have no idea about industry, so
we could tell.
Yeah.
I thought I had
Listen,
something.
we build everything in high sec other than capital. You need to get that straight.
Here you go. Identifying the problem. That's the first step. Now correct it. You're okay.
But can I just say how refreshing it is, Villy, that you let one of your junior FCs come on here and talk out of his ass a little bit? Literally, no one else, no, but like actually, though, like no other alliance leader or I guess alliance personage would ever fucking do that.
Hold
So
on though,
you
because
should, Jeremy, you should count yourself very, Jeremy, you should
Dunk's
count yourself
right
very
here.
lucky.
They let me
I
out
was
of here.
definitely let to do this in Brave.
What the fuck I'm talking about?
So like do you think Dunk would have some dude on that's like, yeah guys, yeah, like we're gonna like I don't know, like I don't have enough fucking trash talk for it, but okay, so apparently there's 2 alliance leaders in Eve.
So let's be clear. I don't give a shit
great.
who goes on these shows or what people say, as long as they don't cross specific lines, right? Like
Fair enough.
You know,
So
Like
the
Jeremy was
brave
about
dude.
to.
So Marius, you haven't been talking to your ass at all, though. You've been actually asking like interesting questions and adding to the conversation.
Yeah, well,
So,
I haven't had anything to say really.
unlike Jeremy over here,
Okay, you got to understand, right? The whole idea behind me coming on here, and I've said this 1,000 times, is just it's funny to see people hate on me in local like goons. Like my jackdaw fleet the other day got boosted on, and we had like 70 people on top of us, and everyone in my fleet but me got out because there was 30 people screaming me and no one screaming the rest of my fleet.
I can confirm Jeremy is target number 1 when on field
so it's like,
after Billy.
oh my god, I'm just so space
We-
famous.
Oh my god, we literally kept Jeremy as a pet while killing the rest of the fleet around him, and then we killed Billy first because he was wrapping Jeremy, and then we killed Jeremy.
Jeremy, this is kind of a significant disadvantage as an FC on field, but I'm glad that you like it though. The attention is nice.
It's actually funny because like one of the lessons learned from that fight for us was that Billy should no longer fly fax. Not because I'm a bad pilot or anything, but just because it like limits my ability to go do anything else, right? Like you're
Keep
like
doing it,
flying a
fine.
fax is like so pilot intensive, right? Like you can't like organize other fleets or go do anything else really. You're focused on being a fax pilot.
Pretty much, yeah.
Especially with a cap booster change, yeah.
No, doing it. It's fine.
What do you mean by the cap booster change?
You know, like a year ago when they made it so you can only have one cap booster.
All test standard like high power minnows have only ever had one cap booster.
Well, I have never been in test or looked at a test minnow fit, so sorry.
Okay. The double minnow, the double cap booster thing has never really been like a, how do I put this, a nullsec needed thing to a degree.
All
Like,
right, there.
unless you're under heavy nuke pressure, like one cap booster's always been more than enough for the most part.
Marius talked out of his ass.
Oh my god, dude! Fucking milestone accomplished. Good job, my dude.
Just got to keep putting the kids in the closet.
With your alliance leader in chat.
So I believe next on the list was.
He's just indie leader, dude.
You guys
Oh,
talking?
yeah,
about...
we're going to talk about the silver ticket, or.
Oh yeah, we should talk about the silver ticket. We should.
Not silver ticket. What was it called again?
Norris's gold ticket.
Silk Road.
Yo, are we going to Willy Wonka factory?
The fucking lies that Norris wants to spread, unless he wants to give actual context for the shit he's spewing.
This like a troll Reddit post y'all are talking about that I keep seeing linked everywhere.
No, this was on Talking in Station, where Norris was like, "We've helped 200 supers leave town."
He was summoned from the,
Maybe, like,
depths of
7
the internet.
months ago.
Here's Richmond to talk about it.
Holy shit.
Well, to be fair, I think that's actually pretty close to accurate. I don't know if you guys are tracking how many people you guys have lost in the Chinese time zone, but I've seen at least 4 or 5, like dozens of supers, like switching to Frat over the course of the war in the last 8 to 10 months.
This was after Fountain had been burnt twice. I saw multiple cat move ups just going across the border all the time.
Marius, you sound like a young blazing bunny, dude.
What do you mean we didn't say
What
a
does
damn
that
thing?
mean? Hold on, Billy. We'll get back to that. What the hell is a young blazing bunny?
It's like a blazing bunny with a voice changer or something.
You don't want to know. Don't go
Or
there,
Blazing
dude.
Bunny who's younger than the other Blazing Bunny.
Yeah, you're like the next dude who's gonna
Talk
go on
about Eve
the
stuff.
dunk show. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, sure.
Blazing Bunny is Eve stuff.
You just
Like, we don't have to talk about
Oh,
He's
it's
Eve
a person.
right?
It's a
All
person.
right, so Silk Roads. We were on Silk Roads.
Okay,
Who
the
wants to
Silk
talk
Road-
about
the
Silk
Sil-
Roads?
Okay,
Billy,
the
you had
safe
something to
conduct
say.
pass. Billy, before we go on, since your name is part of it, the names that people should message. Is this real? Is this a hoax? What is it? Is it legitimate?
Well, once he's not
Absolutely
gonna tell
real.
you.
It was Gobbin's idea to give any goon supers that want a way out. I gotta sneeze. Sorry, one sec.
All right, folks.
Sorry.
I'm gonna go rinse
Bye,
off from
Doc.
the smoke of the bee stuff. So have a good night. Thank you.
Bye, Don. Thanks for telling us about bees,
One
dude.
more more B shit.
So, any goon supers that want a way out, we're just continuing to offer people ways out of the war zone to be merciful and at the same time to, continue to lower our enemies' super cap numbers. So, it works out in our favor both ways. We get to be, the nice guy and at the same time decrease the power of our enemies. And it really doesn't, it's no real skin off our back. So, it was the nice thing to do. We're not in the position, or one of the things we're not a fan of is the way Imperium has basically trapped their members in a cage, whether they say that, that's okay or not. So We're just endeavoring to help them get out.
I see.
Who fucking
and
who?
I mean, it's
Quote, unquote,
basic.
Uh,
It's Warfare 101, right? That you want to give the enemies a way out. You don't take a position as a platoon by killing all the people inside of it. You just don't,
This is
because you
well.
can't.
This may seem like an offer, but keep in mind this is also a weapon. This is a psyop. This is to find out who has their own interests at heart, who puts themselves above the alliance. And by the way, if anybody has fears of that, there's nothing wrong with putting yourself first. There's everything right if you don't feel that your goals and the alliance, or your goals and the leader, align together. If you want to put yourself first, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
So I got to finish my warfare metaphor, or are we moving on?
Talking about
Okay.
Now, Vinny, since a group of people have to approve whoever takes it, what might disqualify someone from being given this offer?
We haven't come across one yet, so.
How do you shoot someone like on the trail with you?
Well,
You know-
obviously, if you fuck up the deal, you're gonna get fucking nuked, right? Like, it's not hard to fucking sino out, go to the next sino, go to the next sino. Like, you're just walking along keep searching. If you fuck it up, it's your fault. Like, especially with mobile sinos where you don't even have to risk a recon nowadays. Like, it's not rocket science.
Right, but it seemed like you guys had like a 1-day policy on
Yeah, well, you should be able to get yourself out in 1 day. Like, we're not gonna
Yeah.
leave you on the ACLs for a month.
Right. Yeah. That's sorry. Yeah. I'm not saying that. Sorry. I was just letting people know that there's like a 24-hour period in the ACLs to get yourself out and then moving.
Yep. I
Makes
mean,
sense because goons are multiple capitals, so it would take more than 1 day at minimum.
Wait,
say that again. Sorry, Don.
Most goons own more than one capital. It would take multiple days to get out if you
Well,
wanted to take.
if somebody
quote-unquote
wants to
advantage.
ask for more than 1 day, I'm sure we could accommodate that request as long as it's reasonable.
If you want to take the useless crabs, you can have them.
Dawn, what would happen to
Just
people
trust me.
who do take this offer? Would they be blacklisted from the Imperium?
Not allowed to comment on that because I am not a Diplo. That is a Diplo and or mittens answer, and I'm not gonna get myself into that.
Dom's
That
already
means,
a Diplo.
that means
Wait,
they've
Dom.
been told. That means they've been
Don.
told exactly. Do not comment on it. Otherwise,
Don, let's say that you were in charge of an alliance in the Imperial, and you
Don't-
found out that you had guys, super pilots, who were taking up on the Silk Road. Would you being Don Rhea, would you blacklist those
Personally?
people?
Marius,
Potentially. Me personally, potentially.
So these people are getting
obviously-
blacklisted.
So obviously, it's to create a divide within the Imperium, which is a very intelligent idea. Secondly, I liked this when I read it because I recall what Billy said about the M2 Tech camp that was a closed door. And if you had a little bit of an open door, you would have many more people probably trying to do things. And so this is kind of like an open door to liberate yourself. Like, save yourself. It's here. You can have it. And it's quite intelligent. And actually, I like it a lot, actually. I thought that was a very meta play. So good job, Billy. Or
I don't
whoever
know.
the fuck it is who came
It was
up with that.
Gobbins, I'm pretty sure, who had the first bit of the idea. Like, it's important to remember, like, we don't hold some like super grudge against the super pilots of the Imperium, and there's a lot of pity, I guess would be the right word, maybe, or like
I don't know. We burned down
the
our
condolences
home
to a
and
lot of the
attacked us
guys. Like you guys have literally like put your own guys in a cage and forcing them to die in 1DQ, and like to us that's like kind of anathema, I guess, right? Like, not giving our pilots the choice to leave at any time.
We
Like,
burnt down your home in a video game. You forgot those.
We had to make those decisions a while back. If you remember, we haven't been able to extract for Supers and Titans for a bit.
If somebody
that
takes
decision was put forward.
No.
It was
not
before
a
that went down.
surprise.
Viv, if somebody takes this offer, are they obligated to do anything after they've followed all the instructions, or are they free to do whatever they want next?
They're free to go do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, in the Reddit post, it was stipulated that they were free to rejoin their corps if they wanted to after they were out, or
If they
while
wanted to,
or
or if
while
they
they were.
can.
Well,
I
let's be
mean,
honest here. In all
who
likelihood,
gives a
as
shit what? Yeah, who gives a shit, right? Like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry, go
that
ahead, Billy.
distinction really doesn't matter because it's not Pappy's decision whether they're allowed back or if they're blacklisted.
Billy, have there been people who decided to join Pappy after taking the Silk Road?
Only had 4 people message me about the Silk Road. One person who we put on ACLs and they got out fine. One person who sent me some nasty stuff. One person who told me to go fuck myself, and what was the 4th one? One person who was just interested. So like, I'm sure we'll see more as time goes by. It's kind of how do I put this?
Yes.
I'm just one of the 7 or 8 names on there, so it's an open door. We're not trying to be some like 10 fucking level meta player here. We're just trying to be the nice guy.
Just trying to be the nice guy while you burn somebody down. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
Dawn.
we
How
are
about
your opponent in
the
a video
corp?
game.
Look at a corp called Honey Badger Squads in Frat. Most of them are built up from members that left Imperium after war.
Okay. So they left Dracarys and Ranger Regiment?
Hold on. So you're complaining that we're burning your space down in a video game? Was it not 30 minutes ago you were boasting about how a bunch of people pulled together money to buy moons, and then now you're the only one that has them?
Hey, remember that time you burned down our space in a video
Talking
game?
about
I was talking about you said you bought Athenors or something with a bunch of people and they got blacklisted. You were happy about that.
I mean, shit happens. I found new business partners.
So
didn't want those people-
we're putting new business into Delve Aquarius is what we're doing.
I didn't want those people blacklisted because I liked a lot of them, but shit happens, yo.
This dude's fucking spunky for a brave guy.
I like
it.
blacklisted
I know,
people.
right? I don't get what he's trying to say. Like, oh darn, I
He's trying
bought
to-
moons with
he's
3 people, and then 2 of them decided to get themselves in hot shit.
How
and
do you
got
not see that that's analogous?
He's trying to
not even
create.
close.
He's trying to create controversy, which I like, which we are
I
pretty
don't
shared
know.
here on the show.
You're playing the victim, and I want you to understand that this is a video game first and foremost. Second,
The goons
you're
don't play the victim, dude. They play
are the-
both
the
the
goons
victim
have
and
been-
the victor. No,
Are
they
you-
play both
who's
the
attacking
victim.
who?
the goons
victim-
are the bad guy
attacking
and the
who?
victim at will.
You're attacking us. We are the victim.
Wait, that was my
That's
entire
by
point. Is that
definition.
No, it's a
they're-
war in a video
They're
game.
both the
You
good guys
in
and
the
the
war,
bad
we're the
guys when it
victim.
suits them. Just like every other fucking alliance in Eve. Maybe except Brave, because you guys generally don't go around doing competent things in the game. Like in
I haven't
terms
been
of
in Brave long enough to take up that mantle,
Oh,
so
you don't know anything you're talking about? Okay, thanks.
I mean,
I was just saying that you have conflicting interests.
Completely discarded.
Okay.
It's like Blazing Bunny with a little bit of a mic changer. I love it. Getting
I
so
need
mad.
to know who this Blazing Bunny is before I allow you to
I know, right?
continue.
I've just never heard of this guy. I love it. He's one of the FCs in your coalition, my dude.
Coalition or block?
In Pappy.
Really, you're wrong. We have
Okay, I can't be expected to know about all the FCs in the entirety of Pappy. You can't expect that.
Good like
NC dot.
A dog.
Okay, NC dot. Okay, that makes perfect sense. I can see someone with my voice being
Now
the
imagine a
FC.
rabbit.
I bet you could, Marius. I bet you could. All right, so we should probably just move on to the actual shit talking part of the segment where we talk about RC feeding a whole bunch of stuff, and you guys can all gang pile me for 5 minutes, and then I think we have to end the show.
Could we hold on to that for a moment? Now, Billy,
Loki, how are you feeling about the faction battleship industry issue?
Billy, I'd like to ask you this thing, because people who do take the this safe conduct pass to leave Delve with their stuff, they're no doubt going to be shit talked, and they're going to be called all sorts of things under the sun. They're going to be called a coward, a backstabber,
So
deserter.
tell me
What
this,
would
Rich.
you-
How,
what would you have to
what
say?
are people saying about the guy that's already left, or the one that I did? And I assume there's been a couple from Gobbins and Norris as well, probably.
You haven't said anything at all. It's their
Exactly.
decision to do so.
Nobody knows their name. We're not fucking publicizing people taking the fucking Silk Road or whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's, here's some ACL excess. Get the fuck out. They leave.
And
Nobody cares.
What's funny is I listened to that particular post chat or town hall or whatever you had where PGL was like, "We're gonna own everything," and then you had the hour and a half long chat afterwards of answering questions, which I appreciated, and I appreciate you sending me the info. I identified a flipper in there immediately just from voice. So yes, we can find out and we can know, because I picked one out back in like November, December from somebody who flipped, and fuck that bitch.
Okay, so
all
here's
you
the
have
funny
to
thing,
do
Don. We don't care. Like, we were actually laughing on comms last night, the other night, because 4 of the 5 FCs on comms at the time, myself, Pittsburgh, Itchy, and one other guy, were all former Goon FCs. Like, let's be clear
Yeah,
here.
and
Like,
Itchy.
nobody in Pappy is like, oh my god, the people that they used to be in Pappy, we gotta get them when they join Goons. They're such fucking traitors. Like, nobody thinks like that. What is wrong with you guys? Like, holy fuck, just let people make reasonable decisions and go play the video game where they have the most fun. What the fuck is wrong?
But it all ties in, Billy. It all ties into the fact that they want their line members to be in a cage, because caged animals lash out. So if they escape that cage, then they're cowards. They must be painted as cowards. It has to be.
Your leadership may think that, but I have seen in chat people doing that.
All
from
you have
the-
to do is look at a corp, look at who leaves, figure out where they go. It doesn't take more than room temperature IQ to figure out who's leaving and who's going.
So 22.5 to sorry, 22.5 IQ points.
22, right?
Yes.
22 C.
Yeah, that's room temperature and stealthy. It's like
I-
you could be
it's funny,
really
I-
fucking stupid. It
I
doesn't
fucked-
take much effort to figure out who's leaving.
I fucked up on the IQ
Um,
thing. By the way, my corp ticker is IQ 300.
How
which is
about them
even more
fucking
ironic.
Max and Losec, eh?
Oh, we want to get on that now? Okay, guys,
I
you
think
need to...
I don't know. The show just keeps going on and on. I'm like, I don't want to fucking miss this shit. Like,
All right, I mean, like it's like 9:05 my time, so usually the show ends at 9 o'clock. Currently, red line is. Oh, come on, you're not gonna fucking do this now.
Are you alive? No, is your brain working?
Can we have 5 minutes where you guys just shit talk me and RC for feeding?
You may take all of the time that you need.
Well, that's nice.
Speaking
Too
of
much
room temperature
controversy
IQ,
to stop now.
I think
speaking of
Redline's
room
having a
temperature
stroke,
IQ,
by the way. Yeah, what's up?
Loki, it was discovered that on the side of Wrecking Crew and Friends, out of all of the command ships that you brought, only one of them had info links. So once all the command ships were headshot, none of them had info links. So from the majority of the fight, you were fighting with reduced lock range and scan resolution.
That is
What
correct.
happened there?
People forgot to have backup info links, Rich. Back to you.
Very well. Was it worth it?
Well, as I'm not the coalition
What is the
leader,
significance here?
and I am not the alliance leader, I'm gonna probably go with eh. I mean, there were 2 snuff staging Fortizars that were in precarious positions, and we didn't like them, so they're gone. And in any other case, we would say objective achieved, fucking objective secured, and then like everyone would high five each other. Yay, we did a great job, boys. But because it's in LoSec, and because we actually took a fight, y'all are gonna be haters, and that's okay. I'm ready for it. So come at me with like more interesting questions.
how
that
does it
was
feel to
I
get that?
respect Snuff. I stand in solidarity with Snuff for taking fights.
Thank you, Blazing Bunny.
How
Next.
does it feel to get that initiative turnaround? Oh, it must be good.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it in the channel. I was at work when things were going down. So again, I'd like to point out, no collusion, Villy, no collusion. And I have one
Why
little
is it
statement
that when
prepared. No, if I might just have the floor for 1 second.
Well,
The
can
most
I just-
dangerous place in Eve is not between Villy and a talk show, but between Dark Shines and a Haiwanto. Thank you very much.
How does it feel to know that your alliance leader, one of your alliance leaders, has literally had the knob of Dark Shines and all of those guys, and in and around his mouth for this long, and
So
all it took is 2 seconds.
I have one alliance leader, and his name is Seto. Is that what you're proposing? Is that
Yes.
Seto had Dark Shines' knob in and around his mouth?
Seto and all of his clones.
Let me be clear that I am speaking exclusively about a doorknob,
In-game,
not
yeah.
any other kind of
I
knob.
see.
Doorknob.
Thinking of something.
I mean, I can't really speak to like what Seto does after fleets, but I mean, I don't know, dude. It's been pretty clear from the beginning. I've been very clear on this show. There is no collusion. We were not working directly with Initiative. They were in a region. They were doing things that did not interfere in any way with us, and shit happened. We also fought Initiative, and we're fighting Initiative now. Initiative certainly have come to the aid of Haiwanto in these times of, I don't know, like them biting a little bit more off than they can chew, I suppose. And does it look like Snuff is farming RC? Absolutely. And does that happen a lot? Sure. But we also don't back down from
Annually, as
fights
far as I'm aware.
continuously. Well, no, we win some fights, dude. Come on.
Ah,
I mean, you did kill the fort, so yeah.
We killed 2 Fortizars, 2 staging Fortizars simultaneously.
Perhaps if you focused on one, you might have not lost so much.
When you say you, I mean I was not there and I was not have seen the fight,
Okay,
unfortunately.
perhaps
But
if they, sorry,
This
it's
so we have
No,
some
you
advice
sound
for
right. You sound right.
RCFCs. I
this
mean,
is the same fight where a Titan jumped to a Sino and bounced, right?
No.
That was a separate
no.
fight.
I mean, this is a continuous stream of engagements between RC and Snuff, where yes, they did escalate with Titans, and there was a bouncing thing, and then we escalated on it with Dreads, and we dunked it. Yes, we killed a Snuff Super or a Snuff Titan. That was a while ago, and we continue to have engagements with Snuff because Snuff generally come down to Lantern anyway in the spring, and this is kind of a thing that we do. Last year, as you remember, we had a giant fucking fight that I unfortunately missed, and we both kind of fed on that one. I think Snuff came out a little bit more ahead, but it was just a giant, like, low set clusterfuck, and Matterhole is very excited covering it. So I mean, it's the things that we do, dudes, but at the same time, it's like we wanted it dead, it died. Did we lose a bunch of stuff? Yes. Were we prepared to lose a bunch of stuff? Yes. Do we have the replacements for those things? Yes. So
Do you have the ability to take it out a second time though? Like how sustainable is this if they just keep anchoring Fortizars like they're doing now?
well, I mean, they obviously want content, right?
You can kill any building if you throw enough bodies at it. It's fine.
I mean, y'all had that.
Are you sure?
You're
Dom?
learning that
So
very much firsthand right now.
It's a great question because I mean,
Trust me.
Snuff
How many
themselves.
bodies is it going to take
So
to kill
so
the
you're saying that if we
TCG?
throw enough bodies at it, we can kill one DQ?
I
I'm
mean,
the most
yes, but
realist in the Imperium. Yes, if you just
Okay.
try hard enough, you probably could make it happen.
it
You were
depends on the
talking about
server. It
snatching the
depends.
core in PTEX Z. How many bodies is that?
It depends on the server.
Just estimate.
It depends on the server fucking
Stability,
limits,
sure, yeah.
boys. No, but I mean the cap, sorry, the server cap on
PTEX
people.
is
Wink,
Aquarius. You
wink.
mean PZ TAC out in Impasse?
No,
Uh,
I
Or
meant
whatever it's called?
PTEX Z.
Aquarius? In the
Aquarius,
Keepstar
yeah.
that's the Keepstar that's not threatened at all yet?
Well, that's the
What are you
one you were talking
about?
about.
You make no sense. You make no sense.
Okay, so actually,
I literally was talking about 1D. Actually, I wasn't talking about anything. Billy brought up 1DQ. I just said, if you throw enough bodies at it,
You're
everything in
talking
this
about
game
sniping
will die.
cores. You remember talking about sniping cores.
Anyway, to
I know
get
that.
back to the topic that we were actually talking about, I will just say I don't speak for the coalition or the alliance that I'm in. However, I will say that low sec dudes want to get fights, and we get fights. We take
Okay, so
fights.
just looking at some of these kill mails from this fight, this is like the first major battleship engagement that I think I've seen since the uh, sig radius suppressor came out, and a bunch of these kill mails have it. So do you have any comments or seen any talk about whether the effectiveness of this played a role or not?
Yeah, we use them. We've been using them for 4 days now, or whenever it is that they came out. They're effective. They work. They work for what they need to be worked for, essentially.
I mean, in
So,
conjunction to the hack nerfs, that's got to be like significant for battleship tracking, right?
what do you mean, battleship tracking?
You
It
know, like in
reduces
low
the
sec.
signature. It reduces the signature radius of the battleship itself.
Sorry.
So it doesn't. The battleships don't track extra because you're hitting it. They're being tracked less, which works really well when you're trying to shoot a structure and there's a bunch of fighters on you. You get targeted, you hit that, and you're able to warp out, and it's pretty effective. Is it like OP? I wouldn't say it's OP, but it's definitely a thing that works. Apparently, if you have a few too many fighters, it doesn't work so well, though, as you can see. Any more shit talk? No? Okay, cool.
Wait, how are you feeling about the industry changes to faction battleships?
I think it's awesome, dude. Honestly, like Is it going to be great for what we're doing currently? No, but I definitely like to be presented with an opportunity to be the haves in a have-not meta, um, and that's what I'm aiming for. So we're going to be hopefully the guys with the cool faction battleships, and we're going to be hopefully fighting dudes that, obviously probably not in the case of Snuff, but fighting dudes, who don't have those things, just generally. And I say that first as a Corp CEO, and then secondly as a member of Dreadbomb, and then thirdly as a, coalition member of RC. So, I mean, will that, is that going to affect RC long term? Probably, yeah. Is it going to hurt Snuff too? It'll hurt. Are we going to stop using them? It's a good question. I think we're going to try our damnedest not to. I think we're going to keep trying to use them. I know as a Corp, we're definitely going to keep using them and have lots of good fights. So that's how I feel about it. Is this where we wrap up our show, Redline?
Loki, where do you see this going? Like, is this going to be a long-term war against Snuff, or is it just going to be like these little minor altercations?
Well, I think, Snuff last year were having fun little engagements in Lantern, and this year they're trying to kill Keepstars. So I guess it depends on how far Snuff want to push the envelope at the end of the day.
If they come towards Kamal, how do you feel about that?
I mean, fucking bring it, dude. They came towards Kamal before. It's not like it's the first time.
Redline, why are all the women on the same side on your pictures?
Why does it matter?
Segregation, dude.
I'm
Joke
just
already,
curious.
dog.
Goddamn.
Why does it matter?
I don't know. I just quit asking.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't matter? Got it.
You could answer.
That's just the way the portraits are lined up, Don. It has
Okay.
no significance in any way, shape, or form.
Redline, are you trying to tell us something
About what?
Is
That
it
I
like a
think-
secret
about
code?
about
That I
which
think-
side of the diagram you're on?
That I think women have their place and they should stay in it? Is that what you want me to
That
say?
seems
Dear Lord.
I like Billy's character with the long hair, though, not the pulled back hair. You should get that portrait back.
Are we canceling Redline now?
Well, you didn't ask what place it was. So you can't realistically cancel me until you know.
Place is my bed.
No.
Canceled.
The place is wherever they want to be. See? Now it's better. Now you can't cancel me.
I don't think it's better. I got a question for Rundle. You live in Virginia?
No.
Yeah. This will be on the radio today. Sounded just like you. Just like you.
Oh, yeah?
Crazy, but they were from Virginia and they worked in IT. That's what I thought.
That already sounds awful.
It's pretty funny.
Unfortunately, there are about 310 million Americans, so
I could have got lucky, though. You never know.
300.
I've never won the lottery, so this might be my moment.
Yeah, 310 million Americans, and he's looking for a Canadian in Virginia. So
You never know, dude.
You never know.
no, that's
Especially with
probably what it was. He probably
what
was.
province you live in, bud?
I don't live there anymore, but Alberta.
Oh,
United States.
a bad
now, don't you?
one.
Little fancy place named Banff. Have you ever heard of it?
Badass motherfucker.
I also live in Alberta.
Isn't that what
LOL.
Nightcrawler does when he teleports?
But he's up in the Edmonton area. So
Right.
Edmonton.
The better
Isn't
part,
that
right?
a basketball player?
no.
What?
All I-
Edmonton? What? A basketball player?
All I know about Banff is that in one South Park episode, it was ruled by a bishop.
Is that Volvin?
No.
You sure?
Something, dude.
Someone tell me if that's
It's
Volvin.
Gregorian.
It's Gregorian.
Oh.
Gregorian really comes undone. Not comes undone, but
I love that Weezer song.
says interesting things. Oh, you're welcome. Says interesting things, but he's not on Talking to Stations. Not to discredit what you're saying on Talking to Stations, but
Brandon,
I think
thanks.
the leash is a little tight with Matterall there on the show. It's a little
Loki,
stuffy.
Oh,
I got a question. Let me stir the pot.
Yeah, stir the pot, dude.
So, since you live in irrelevant security space, not a lot of people know like what you're actually fighting for. when you go in these big fights and Titans are dropped. But like, what's to be had?
Loki, I
Can you
think I
explain
got
that?
this one. I got this one, dude. We are fighting for great justice.
Yeah, dude, it's all the great justice, dude.
Okay.
So there are keep stars in Losec. I know you might not know that, but
I know about like Amamake and all that shit. Why? This begs the question: why are there keep stars there? Like, what does that serve? Like in nullsec, it's very obvious. Space is
why
a
is it
place you
obvious
can
in nullsec and
People
not in
want to
lowsec?
dock
because
their
it's
supers.
it's
No,
space you hold on. You want the infrastructure there because that's space you can rat in, that's space you can mine in. That's ISK generation. Where's the ISK generation? Where's the incentive to control space in lowsec? I would like you to explain that.
Well, I would like you to first explain why you think that you need a keep star to mine and rat. So let's go with that.
No, you need a keep star to defend all the other infrastructure that's important to make sure that your guys can still mine and rat.
Keep star doesn't defend a fucking thing, my dude.
Yes, it does, because you can dock supers in it.
Okay, so it's to dock supers then. That's the reason.
Yes, that's the
matters.
Oh, so you want to have a keep star so you can dock a super in it?
So Wrecking Crew
seems very
Wrecking-
dubious.
Wrecking Crew have been a super using group since I was a noob in this game.
Did you guys find a Big Bill the Boss person in Brave, but is dumber? Is that what's happening?
That's not possible, Don. Now, come on, you're smarter than
You
that.
mean this guy who spent
So-
30 minutes tearing you apart on every point that you made is dumb?
Bullshit. He doesn't know anything.
Let me answer the
Bullshit.
stupid.
All
let me
right, I
answer
don't
the
know
stupid-
anything,
let
but
me
I can
answer this-
address you point by point. So how does that reflect on you?
Yo, shut the
Saying
fuck
Big
up.
Bill the
Shut
Boss is
the fuck up. So to address your stupid
Loki,
question,
the voice of Imperium, is now speaking. Hush, everyone.
I'm
yes,
paying him under the
Uh-oh.
table.
voice of Imperium. So in lowsec, people still have supers and titans. In fact, we have quite a few. Secondly, we still rat and we still mine. In fact, the mining in lowsec is currently better than it is in nullsec, if from an anomaly basis at least, because there is a Noxian bottleneck that we can exploit. So we have keep stars because we like keep stars and we make enough ISK to have the keep stars. And some people feel like lowsec shouldn't have keep stars, and I think those people are stupid.
No, I
was
think
gonna
those
use
people are
a
stupid
different
too.
word, Redline, but I didn't. So
I
improvements.
appreciate that. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, we have keep
Hold on.
stars, and we want to defend them, and that's what we're doing. Currently,
Okay.
Snuff are trying to threaten them because they have nothing better to do. But honestly, they normally don't have anything better to do anyway. So we're just having cool fights, and that's what's going on.
Yeah,
It's
that's
the
what's up.
content.
I have a question for Villy. Is Villy still here?
Of course, Phil is still here.
Okay. Question, Villy. Was the CSM ever presented the structure for these changes that are happening right now?
Paging Dr. NDA.
What do you
Paging
mean?
Dr.
As much
NDA.
As much as you
Kenneth
can
said they
answer,
were.
obviously.
Pretty sure Kenneth said they were.
What do you mean
Unlo-
presented the like? You got to clarify the question. Sorry.
Were you given the or told, here's the framework of what we're looking at on
What do you
doing
mean
changes?
framework? Like
What changes they were looking at making.
yes, absolutely.
And when was that?
That's not something I can answer.
Ah, damn. Okay. Because Kenneth did.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
why don't you refer to Kenneth's answer?
One last.
That's what I am trying to corroborate the answers I
Oh
was
god,
given.
I'm so glad that you used that word. I fucking love that word. Corroborate.
One last
Yeah.
one last super important point, by the way, and I made this point earlier in the show if you were listening, Marius, is that in lowsec, CCP are encouraging people to have these super cap umbrellas in order to protect their oracles like they do in nullsec until the work changes, of course. And so that is another reason why you need keep stars, because you have to have that protection for the expensive shit or they'll die. So
Gotcha.
sorry.
Okay.
We'll put that one to bed now. Thank you. Sorry, continue.
No, I appreciate it, dude.
I don't appreciate it. I think you're full of shit. I think you just want to keep
I
starting
do
because
too.
you think
I
it's
think you
cool
can suck my dick,
because
Redline.
your friend. You know what? You know what I think I could do, Marius?
I think
if
he's
you really wanted
bleeding
me to.
funny is what I think.
Bad
You know what I think is that Brave couldn't stand up if an alliance, even a third their size, actually tried to beat their ass.
I want you to think very very, very hard about how you're going to finish that sentence.
It's hard to do when
I
you're
already
drunk.
finished it, so please try again.
How many systems do actually belong to goons at this point? How many? How many could you say actually belong to goons? It's just the
6,
one, right?
7.
6.
7 out of how many do you started the war with? It's just the one,
Yeah,
by the
but
way. But 7 out of how many?
It has nothing to do with you, dumb bitch. It's Pappy. It's PanFan. Is
Mm,
doing all the
nothing
work
to
for you.
do. Nothing
You
to.
guys couldn't handle.
I'm gonna throw in the towel. Okay, I can go home. I don't have to lead a single another fleet because Brave hasn't had any hand in anything to do with evicting you guys from Quirius.
Nothing of that.
Safeguarding West Catch, safeguarding North and South Catch.
Is all the catch gone now?
Defending Impasse from the bullshit,
gone
stupid
too?
fucking Necro Knight.
Completely owned by Red Alliance, Wrong, Sorry, and M22. And guess what? All of Catch is gone too. So please
Pretty
tell me
sure
how you
not
secured
Brave
Catch.
encompassed all of
You lost
Mountain.
everything to
Ron,
groups
how
that are
many-
34-man fleet. Shut up, Jeremy. No one
How
cares
many
what you
keep
think.
stars have Brave lost? How many keep stars have Brave lost?
They're gonna lose 4 here in the
No,
next
how
few
many
days.
have they lost? Because you're speculating. How many have they lost in comparison to all of Imperium?
How many did Brave own is the question. They own what?
I
3?
can count tens, literal dozens that are all still in Impasse. Literally all still in Catch.
So they're in impasse that are owned
There
by
are.
other alliances
Hey,
that
I
have
don't know if
spread
you know
out
this, but when Fire has to
You guys
mid
have
their
lost
caps,
all of your space. You had to leave because you couldn't handle Dread Bomb and Initiative, who are both smaller than you. You guys get on regular 50 to 60 people in fleet, and you couldn't handle a single
Initiative and
sig
Dread Bomb,
from
especially
Imperium
together,
to not
all
lose a
great.
fucking eye hub. The only reason why you have any space is because we're not trying to take it. The moment we actually try to take your
trying to
shit,
take
you
it.
will
Hold on,
lose it.
because that's hilarious. Why wouldn't you be trying to take it?
We're a little
Because you
bougie
were just
with our own
saying
space.
that you have Impasse, so why wouldn't you be trying to take more? If that was a point that you have Impasse, why wouldn't you be taking more?
Taking more. We're taking more in Catch. We're taking more in Esoteric. We're taking more in Faith of Ballast and Omist and all the other fucking areas.
You
First,
know,
Are you sure
we
you're
would
taking
have
more?
Omist. We would have Omist already if it wasn't so important for us to defend all these keep stars that are dying without any fucking fights in all of West Quirius, all of the entirety of Delve, even your ratting pockets, even the bullshit that you used to hell camp. All of it is gone. All of your keep
handle
stars are
30-man
dead or dying.
your alliance is worthless.
Worth
You couldn't handle a 30 to 40 man sig killing and destroying your eye hub. You had to get Severance, who is a third, if not a fourth of your size, to do all the work for you.
I don't know if
Brave
you
is
know this about Brave,
pathetic.
but
Is this the talk you want, Red Light? Am I doing it right?
oh my god.
It's fantastic.
You
I'm
audacity.
enjoying this immensely. I can't tell who's winning. So I'm gonna do a poll in the Twitch chat to see who's winning. And you
Blazing
guys
Buddy's
just
definitely
keep,
losing.
you guys just
audacity
keep
of
going.
Goon Swarm's representative in this show right now. Wanting to tell me that Brave hasn't done anything in the war
You've
that
done
we're about
nothing.
to win in the next couple months.
Move.
Where is the
You had to
traitor
leave because
Anzo?
Dread Mom
Where
decided
does
to
the
come and hang
traitor-
out with
We haven't
and
left
they're like,
shit.
what,
I got a
tenths of your
snake
size?
pod in T5Z. I got a snake pod in GE. They're both there.
Free room in Impact.
What do you use a
What?
snake bot for, dude? What's
I
the
missed
snake
it. I
bot
was
for?
yelling. What?
Snake pods for monitor work. You know, Munins, you gotta have a snake pod.
Why don't you just buy a really?
Initiative's
You're gonna
a
lose
relevant alliance, right, Don?
PZ, whatever it is in Impact.
Why don't you just buy
and
a really?
IRE, you're gonna lose all of those. It's gonna
Why don't you
take
just buy a
little bit.
really?
Honestly, we could kill him right now because
do it. Do it.
Test is gonna come.
Content.
Why?
Do it.
Because Billy pinged 5 times to come help you guys with your last Sov timer, and he got 40 people. Let's talk about Tess.
I want the
and
record to show
motivation
that
right
the
now.
anime
They didn't
girl in
wanna
my
come
profile
help out.
picture is not a cat. Her name is Ushimi Ichigo. She's a strawberry nudibranch.
Don, what are you talking about?
Oh, the cat. Okay.
She's
Dom's cat.
talking about the time I pinged for Hova. They don't understand how our pings work.
Where you pinged 5 times, you're like, come on, wake the fuck up. We need to go help our alliance. And then nobody came, and you didn't help Brave, and Initiative
I
took
was
the
there.
hotel
I was
contest. Shut up, Jeremy.
I was there. And let me explain what
Hashtag
happened
I
because
was
you weren't.
there.
Hashtag it was literally Jeremy's like fleet with Hova. Like
Yes. So I was
Hova.
I was coordinating all this stuff in the
And
background.
so
What
Jeremy's not a
happened?
big enough FC
What
to
happened
get
was
enough people to come help out Brave against Initiative.
Can you
Shut
can you stop talking
happened?
over Jeremy while he's like laying out the
No.
situation?
What
This is
happened
our
was
thing. This is how this
we-
works.
what happened was, right,
How love
you
works.
not only had a Macarial fleet, you also had a 256 man goon Munin fleet that was like two constellations ahead of, like 2 regions ahead of us, I should say, right?
Oh, so
They were
our like 150 man Munin fleet sitting in 407 or whatever not that was just waiting to see what would happen and didn't actually go in anywhere was that
because we
scary to
didn't
you?
go.
I guarantee most of your guys didn't know that we were already pre-staged and waiting.
Well, I did. You're not
It's
very good
funny that
about
you're
hiding
because
it.
it wasn't a mutant fleet, Don.
Still had
It was
I don't
a
remember.
Macarial fleet.
Listen, I was
Oh
in the
my
fleet.
god!
Okay?
Did none of you guys know what the fuck you're talking about?
I'm always in a scimitar, okay? I don't keep track of the DPS ships. That's somebody else's problem.
That's
I sit
the
in a
mark of
scimitar
a good
95% of the time.
Well, if you're in a scimitar, you're probably either in a Serb
But
fleet or a
anyways, you
mutant
got
fleet.
40 people in your fleet subs the last week. So big help test was to keep Braves super capitals safe because guess what? You had some super capital Sotios in one of the systems we took over, and now those ships are just gonna
I mean,
fucking die.
we had a lot of you had a lot of super capital Sotios. I mean, we had some for free that dropped out of
But those
cliffhangers.
people, and yet those people knew that was gonna happen months ago,
Oracles
so they
last
didn't have
night,
it on
right?
their own damn fucking fault.
So it's their fault when they do it, and our fault when we do it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. That's
Okay,
how that
so
works.
so
Don't you
Can't
know
take
that?
responsibility.
We need more goons on the fucking show, by the way, because this feels like Don's been defending
Dominarch,
herself.
you won't let Dominarch talk when you ask Diplo questions. He's literally asking
You're getting what you get. Okay, you're getting what you get.
Dominic, defend fucking Don, please. Let's go. I want to hear 100 words on why you guys aren't losing the war. Go, dude.
Well, we're not losing the war because we're not actually fighting there anymore. We moved to Esoteria where we are winning.
See, this is why we can't ask Dom.
Yeah.
We need
Wait,
like
Dom, let's
That's a
let's
good
firefighter.
answer.
well, let's start with that. Are you guys winning in Esoteria though, Dom?
We have more than one
Didn't you
system.
have to just
Yes,
move?
that's a win.
Didn't you just have to
Winning.
move in people to take over the space to keep you safe?
Didn't
Aren't
we
you
have
like?
people move in that were always planning to move in? Yes. So, but my question is,
Were they planning on moving? Because I feel
Yeah,
like
they
they've
were.
left all their
We,
soft
we
in their
knew, we
old
knew
homes
Mangoes.
still.
Invictus was new. That's an
And
add-on.
all their buildings and all
It's
their
not what it was.
If,
It was supposed to be
Invictus
Mangoes
was new,
Fleet,
they were planning on
they're
staying
fighting
in Faith
for it.
of Olive.
I
I don't think
can't.
AOM was planning to move.
We got two goons spinning in opposite directions, and it's canceling out right now.
You shut up, Marius. You have
Maybe
nothing
you
important
told me
to say. You are from
Our,
Alliance
our
that's
secret
irrelevant.
plan
and
to draw you
useless.
guys all into 1DQ.
It's happening again. They're talking
Bring our
over
trap
each
and
other.
focus.
How are you guys going to coordinate as an alliance if you can't even realize that on a talk show we can only pay attention to one of you at a time?
they don't actually, because Bastion goes out and does their own thing and succeeds, while the rest of the Imperium just fucking sits in Delve and does nothing.
Really?
Such failure.
Thank you for that really good point, Blazing Bunny. That was really helpful.
Now,
Sorry,
to be
Dominic,
fair though,
I should let you
we
talk.
are doing our own thing, but all of us try to keep at least one person. You know, we can bounce back and forth.
Joking,
I
obviously.
know.
Like Bastion's like honestly, the only Imperium alliance that has grown this war. Who do you think it is?
Us, man.
Yeah, it's Bastion, right? Like you guys have done great. Like you guys found a niche and like some play styles, and you've been building FCs and increasing
And,
the kind of
honestly,
strength
we're
of your
having a good
alliance
time doing it.
relatively.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that really. I mean, we're not recruiting, obviously, but if you're a newer player and you get involved in this kind of part of the war, you're still part of the big picture, but you're doing your own thing. It's the best scenario for the
Dom,
war.
This is the shit.
Dom,
that Jade
I've met
wanted
you,
to
and I
have
think
happen,
you're a
right?
good person.
It is.
And
You're right.
I want to tell you,
Exactly what he wanted with Bastion.
Dom, I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, you should be recruiting.
Well, maybe so, but during wartime, our leader does not want any recruiting going on.
That's a reasonable thing during war.
Now,
I'm not going to say we weren't looking for
some corps and things like that, but there's no open recruiting at all in Bastion. It's like if you're an individual, you can't apply to Bastion right now.
We've been trying to get some more dudes in, so.
But after a while,
okay.
After a
Well,
while,
I mean, it's not rocket science, right? If somebody's
But
invading
do
your
you
space,
really
first thing you
need
do is
them
try
in
to like.
there?
Yeah,
Isn't
I mean, as
there-
I said, Bastion has been somewhat successful, right? They've been keeping pressure on us.
Yeah, Bastion's kicking ass. But
Yeah, everybody thinks Bastion's doing good. I'm really impressed with Bastion because, like, when they started this war, they could barely get like 10-man fleets, and they were really struggling to do much. And now they're at like 20, 30-man fleets, and they're a lot more comp heavy. They're making better tactical decisions.
Well, look at us at the beginning of the war in Fountain, right?
Yeah.
Collapsed pretty quickly. We held on, I would say, longer than initiative. But that was a planned thing. Obviously, they were pulling out. We were kind of trying to be defiant, and it went poorly for us. We got our asses kicked a lot, but we grew from
really,
it. We
the
learned from it.
difference is
and we
that
did-
you were
that's why
fighting.
we went after us.
Well, one of the differences you were fighting PanFam in Fountain versus Test / whatever not in Esoteria, and PanFam is pulling their weight, where versus Legacy / Test ain't doing shit.
Sure.
When it came to our pocket of Fountain, there was a lot of
Billy,
tests.
because I've seen you at
so.
the field.
I'm sorry, I have to jump in here because Test provided us some very proper entertainment last evening. It was beautiful. That thing
All
you
I
guys did with the
know
Knicks,
is
I
that I
loved
got
it.
to kill Billy at least twice.
Yeah, I play the game lots, but the lesson to kind of be learned here for anybody in the future is that it's always more fun, I guess, or like it's a much more positive environment to be on the offense than it is to be on the defense in EVE Online Wars, and it makes a huge difference for membership if they can see progress and they can see continual movement forward, and just sitting in a location waiting to defend timers as they come up. It's just not something that people generally enjoy as an experience, right? So Bastion has kind of found a niche staying on the offensive, and it's been good for them.
I mean, and I'm a realist. I always am on these shows. Do we think we could, if you guys were to turn your attention on us, would we hold? Probably not, right? But we know that you've got your attention on somewhere else, so we are taking advantage of that, and we've got some allies there. Stain Rust has been a great ally for us. It's a weird ally because that Stain Rust being out is just weird, but they've been a great
It's always
ally.
funny people say the Stain Rust, but it feels like they have like more U.S. time zone players than they do in fucking Russian time
It
zone.
does seem like that now, doesn't it? They still have a significant Russian presence, but it's not as much as it used to be, I don't think.
Yeah,
I
so
miss the
Dawn
name
and
Stain Wagon. That was a really good name.
Don and Dom, both of you. Why do you think why do you guys have this thought in your head that like ARP, for example, is going to stay in Feth? Like, why do you think that's where we were in somewhere we were driven out? Why is that?
I was told that by several people.
Apparently, you guys cored all your structures, and then got
I
fucked.
don't think that. I don't think that.
Yeah, because the whole point of the war was it was very clear, right? There's been a clear direction from the top down, and yes, that's the part that I laugh at is every time I hear the arguments.
It hasn't been super clear. It's every group.
On our side, it's been super clear to us. For sure, it has been.
So, like, you guys were totally expecting the goons to jump over and start fucking your shit up in places where you couldn't fight?
Yeah.
And then you were also expecting...
we were perfectly planning not to be there.
You're also... not to be there, sure, but your structures are still there with a bunch of shit in them for some reason, which is interesting.
Some people stay behind in all groups. That always happens. Yeah, it's a thing.
And then when Dreadbomb go in and start taking advantage of a situation, all of a sudden we're goons. You go on Matterall's show and you say there's like this body of evidence that support that we're working with the goons.
Well, it's like we were paying.
Well, it's almost like we were expecting and relying on
working with
Dreadbomb to help us defensively.
Well, I mean, I guess that would be your diplomatic abilities versus like, I don't know, man. Like, don't look at me about like I'm not the dude who makes decisions.
You
And
did the
Dreadbomb,
contract.
unfortunately, I just launch the missiles and tell dudes what to do. So like at the end of the day, like that's your diplomatic shit that obviously didn't work very well. So, but everyone was fucking dogpiling on me over here about how like we're on the wrong side of this and blah 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 blah. Meanwhile, like we expected this the whole time, guys. Everything
Wait,
is
real
great.
quick,
Like
I
I
wanna
think
recap here,
somebody's
right?
a little bit full of shit, just a little bit. But anyway, I
I
digress.
want to recap. Didn't Seto say, Billy, you gave him the okay to take that space that you weren't going to need it? And then he ran one of your alliance members off from their home region? I find that funny.
Oh, I never gave him that okay until after he'd already done it.
No.
So
I mean, okay, if you want to...
Sorry. Huh?
You want to reorganize the order of operations. That's fine. I just remember Seto saying, I asked Billy if it's okay if I take this space, and Billy said, it's fine. Just leave this to one Fortizar here so we can use our jump freighter. And I said, okay, that's fine. And then he proceeds to run Brave out of the entire region, which is fantastic.
Why are you so focused on Brave all the time?
Because of me. It's because of me.
Because
Let's be realistic. It's because of me.
mean
It's because
nothing.
I joined the show.
It's a compulsion to
I
keep the cities.
provided a
Because
springboard.
Brave thinks they matter to something, and they've done nothing significant.
I can't believe what my
Other than
ears are
quote unquote
hearing.
coring their all of their buildings that they need. Oh wait, they've given up almost 650 billion worth of
Who
cores
writes your
in the
show notes for
5+
you, Don?
trillion. Myself,
I hope
I
something cool.
remember things. So Brave have lost. Imperium, or sorry, not Imperium. Legacy in general has lost. I think we've tracked about 5.5 trillion worth of buildings in the time of when, quote unquote, they should be the attackers, not the defenders.
Remember when the Sotoyo got unanchored and literally 3 trill of orders just went poof?
3 trill. Where are you getting 3 trill? No one
Was
knows
it
how
not
much.
3 trill?
No one
It
knows
was a
how
lot
much
of
got-
supers in that building. I know that.
Okay, if you think it was a 420 wyverns from Mad Cow, then you are fucking insane. No, it was not that much. It would be a couple hundred billion at most. And even then, that's once again a drop in the bucket for how much we have.
But that's
The Matani said it was
losses
a trillion at
directly.
least, so.
That's losses
It might be a
directly
trillion. I don't
shouldered
know.
by your line members. You have to understand that that's a problem.
And those people
Just my
would have
Shadow
lost
State
that
line
shit to
members, by
fucking
the way.
ratting anyways. Who cares?
They wouldn't have lost that shit ratting. They're a little bit better than
Yes,
that.
they would have. No, they
They're a little
wouldn't.
bit better
Have you
than that.
Okay, what? Okay, I'm gonna
Like,
backpedal because somebody in chat. I'm gonna backpedal.
No.
Somebody in
No.
chat has put a Reddit post that says it totaled to about 1 trill. Okay, doesn't sound as bad as 3 trill, but still, that's 1 trill entirely expected to just be made up for by all of the industrialists of all the imperial, or all of them that at least had access to that Sotoyo. So you have to understand.
It was a terrible mistake. And people
You have to understand that if you're gonna fight a war, a defensive war, you can't make it suck to be on your team. You just can't.
Well, should the vacuum cleaner team.
And you're on an offensive war, and you guys lost all your space and had to move. That's ridiculous. You
But have they
didn't go.
lost
It's
space
gonna
in
be
Aquarius?
it's gonna be a matter of weeks. It's gonna be 1DQ is gonna fall. It'll be the last of I don't know how many
In a matter
fuck
of
off.
weeks. You didn't say it.
It'll be a matter of fucking weeks after that last keep star in 1DQ falls. We'll just sweep up impasse. It'll be fine because no, I've had this.
Oh wait, you don't know
I've said this.
anything about what's
I've
shocking.
I've held this position ever since M2 and ever since you guys decided you were gonna creep your little fingers into catching impasse. Okay, you guys are not entrenched in our space like we're entrenched in your space. Okay, we have infrastructure leading all the way up to your doorstep. What do you have in impasse? Even if you've scorched earth, you know, it's fucking Napoleon on his way up to Moscow. What do you have there that's worth defending when we turn around after we're victorious from 1DQ? What do you have there that's worth defending with all your little pets and newfound allies that have iHubs? Oh boy, iHubs. They have iHubs in Catch and they have iHubs in Impasse. So there's an Alliance logo in the top left. Ooh. Okay, what do they have that's worth defending once the war, big W, capital W war is over? What do they have?
So you think
We're just gonna turn
Brave
around.
is gonna have
This
to leave?
means
No.
nothing. This
You mean
means nothing.
Severance, an alliance that's like a 10th your size, has more gumption than you do. Severance actually puts up a fight and defends their shit, unlike your dumbass.
7 Navy's always been great though.
Severance has been a lot of fun to fight. They try. Honestly, even if they only have 30 people, they put a lot of effort in it and they bring a ton of logi. I will respect that. If you bring, let's say they have 30 people, they'll bring 10 logi. And it's like, well, the fuck, how are we going to break this shit? So it's, that's been a challenge and it's been fun. Brave, on the other hand, is like, Brave literally had a 50-man fleet, could not handle us in an Entosis fight. And so they had to ask Severance to bring wolves to come and fight us to get us to allow them to win an iHub defense timer. All they needed were 4 hacks to succeed. And after an hour and a half, they couldn't succeed because they're that bad at this game.
They only have 3 hacks. What was the problem?
We kept jamming and or killing their hackers because they
Are
were so
you trying to
inept
tell me
at
that Brave
defending.
is like a new player alliance? They
No,
might struggle with
they're
like
not anymore. You know
bad
that
at
for sure.
Really, can you?
Most of those guys
They're
are playing
not
good
Guys,
games.
we've gone full circle now. Brave is again a new player alliance.
Yeah, I don't
Oh
think
no!
so.
This is
They
how
should be
everything
flying like it, but
happens.
they're not new.
Come back! I want to insult you more. Anyway,
show.
Listen, you guys aren't going to do anything.
Baby Bunny won the argument
Pulled him
war.
off the show. Where'd he go?
Too.
Okay, does
Oh, I
anyone
broke
have
him.
a sound recording of that FC, that Baby Bunny, whatever his name is, flaming
Bunny.
cock dildo bunny, whatever his name
Flaming
is?
cock dildo
He's
bunny.
literally on like
Writing it
Open
down right
Comms
now.
every night.
Right.
Or
Bunny?
every-
New name.
I want to hear his voice because I know that I hate the way that my
sound alike.
voice sounds.
Data Thursdays had him as a guest a couple times. You can find those VODs.
Well, he's always on Open
Yeah, but
Comms
then
every
you'd have
Friday.
to watch INN, and who wants to do that? Nobody.
Ooh.
Hey,
Yikes.
I talk about your show on my show. You can talk about
Yeah,
mine.
you talk
What's
about
our
my
show? Hold on.
show
What's
on
our
your
show?
because
I'm giving
my
you good
show is the
content now.
inspiration for your show. You
It
literally
doesn't
have
matter.
a show because I have a show. Like,
Shit,
if I didn't
copies.
come up with good topics to talk about every week, you would just talk about fucking cooking recipes and touching each other's back
That's
sweat.
I
okay,
like
that
doing
might be
that.
true.
That's
I'm not gonna lie here. That might be true.
Yeah.
And I might do that anyway. But you shouldn't put down my. We
Well,
literally let you talk
Data
about our show
Thursday's
on
a
my
great
show.
show. If you've done, there's
Yeah.
2 good shows on Thursday, and Data Thursday's one of them.
Exactly.
Yes,
There's two
Thursday's
good.
a great
There's
show if
two
you
good
good
shows
shows.
on
And I said
Thursdays.
neither of them are bad. They're
You're
both good shows.
correct. There are two
They're
good
both
shows on
And
Thursdays.
they're
multiple
different shows
shows.
too. They're not same format or anything.
And then there's one great show on Thursday.
Yeah,
many-
it's a Merkelton stream.
Oh fuck, he's on Thursday too, isn't he? Yeah, there is.
I
one.
know. I'm
There's one.
so mad.
There is one
Like, he
great show
couldn't
on
wait.
Thursday. Then
He couldn't wait 1 hour to allow like us to just have our time. No, he's got to start at 9 o'clock. Like,
you have a voice like that, you gotta get it
So,
out.
on INN, right?
Merkelton is pretty sexy.
The regular cast of INN, how many of them would be considered a dissenting opinion from
I'm a
Goonswarm or
dissenting
the Imperium?
opinion.
No,
I am
you're
the
a
most
member of Goonswarm and you've been defending them top to bottom this entire show.
But I'm very
Who would be
pessimistic.
considered like
On INN, Zanus is probably the only
I
person
had-
who doesn't guzzle Kool-Aid.
I had red light on last week. What are you talking about?
Let's be clear here. Wait, why am I saying that? Billy says that. That's not what I say. I don't say that.
Say
You were on last
you're not
week and you
tracking
did-
that.
And
You're
you
saying
fought
saying
against,
that too.
I
you
but,
fought
had
against Ragnar,
myself.
which was hilarious.
I had myself on the show last week.
We've had Villy on INN. We've had neutral parties. We've had positive parties. We've
think
had
we'll be on
negative
INN
parties. Like, do
soon.
whatever the fuck we want, bitch.
Yeah, whatever the fuck you want, except for have people that you can't control.
Listen, just
I was
just because
threatened.
I'm
I
li-
was told that if I didn't act nice on your show, that I would be removed from my role in INN. I
You
was
acted
being
nice.
Really?
threatened.
Who said
No,
that
not
to you?
really. It was just a fucking
You
joke,
did
Don.
what you
Calm
were told.
down.
Don't lie, because they'll believe you.
I said it
God.
was a joke.
They censor people? Holy
Nope.
shit.
Oh god, what have I done? Now
Billy
River's gonna
disappeared, but
fucking
probably 'cause it's
message
very
me.
late
They force
No,
people to
Billy
pay to be on the
disappeared
show.
because he knows I'm about to come back and say, alright, it's time for final thoughts, because all you guys are doing is yelling over each other, and no one wants to hear that. I mean, I kind
I
of
don't
want to
know.
hear it,
You
read the
said it
honestly.
chat?
was good.
You read the chat? That is actually what they wanted to hear.
I know, and that's why we've let it go on for this long. Question for Villy.
Also,
Do you
by the way,
prefer to
roast.
have... Oh, hold up. There's a question for Villy. Do you prefer to have a full-out
Billy's
attack
not
on
in comms.
1DQ, or would you rather camp the system till they get demoralized?
Billy's no longer in comms.
Yeah, I'm aware. So I want to practice something real quick. So let's
Let
be
me
clear
track
here.
this about
Shut the fuck up, Don. I'm busy. So let's be clear here.
bit by bit.
Eventually, the goons will be stuck in 1DQ forever, and then we'll either kill them or they'll kill themselves in game. And
Bit by bit. Bit by bit.
He is a
It-
Canadian.
That
Redline,
was so good.
That was really good, Redline.
That's
was really
that's
good.
about
Yeah.
all I'm tracking about that.
It
No,
took me
Good
longer
job,
than it should have to realize that wasn't actually Billy.
Nice.
Oh,
It was excellent. Good job, dude.
It was a
I,
very good
I
answer.
approve.
Great impression.
I like the aboot. The aboot is very important.
Well,
Did you hear? He
They
did
pretty
say
much
that
nailed
tonight.
it.
He said a boot tonight. It made me laugh.
It's funny because I typically do say a boot, like actually in
You say it like
daily
a Canadian. I
conversation,
know.
and I don't like it. I hate it.
It's
I'm
You were
gonna
saying
strange.
stop, but
to
I
be clear
can't.
on Sunday
Whoa
night
there,
too.
bud.
Give your balls a tug.
Oh, there, buddy. Don't you know?
All right, now we're just gonna jump into fucking Letterkenny memes, and that can't happen because that's offensive to Canadians as far as
It
I'm
is not.
tracking.
It
Love
isn't.
that
It's
shit.
hilarious, dude.
Oh, okay.
It's a
All right.
Canadian show. They produce
So
it like we produce it.
has anybody not seen the show Letterkenny?
I haven't.
Okay.
I have
I've seen
it,
Trailer
but
Park
What kind
Boys.
of miss-knuckled butthead are you? How could
Have
you have
you
not seen that?
have you seen like Facebook clips of Letterkenny?
Yeah, sort of.
Okay.
It's one
I
of the
just know
funniest
it's a bunch
shows
of
I've ever
Canadian
watched.
rednecks.
Great.
I
It is
don't.
very.
I don't
I was
use
hoping-
Facebook.
By the way, Rain, you're my only shiny Pokemon still. I'm gonna have to. I'm still trying to find another one.
No, it's a
Fair
show
parts.
about Canadian farmers who also meme. Like that's what the show is about.
What
Yeah.
show's that?
Letterkenny.
Letterkenny.
Yeah, that's a good description. Yes.
There are 5,000 people living in Letterkenny. These are their problems.
Exactly.
Sorry.
I liked it enough. I watched the animated version of it.
It's
We're-
the new Trailer Park Boys for
We're
Americans.
hosting an Eve Talk show talking about Letterkenny. That's how you know things are at their end. And 3 hours in, I think I am finally gonna say let's wrap it up. And I just want to wrap it up. Like what I'm gonna do, because it's so late, we're not gonna do final thoughts, but instead, what I'm gonna do is I would like for Arius and Dawn to just argue, like talk over each other, do all these things, anything you want to do for the next few minutes while I play the credits. Can you do that for me?
Sure.
Fuck
I know what
you. I hate everything you stand
hold on, I
for.
haven't done
No,
it
I'll
yet.
give you a
No,
topic
don't be
here.
a jerk.
I'll give you
Fuck
guys
you,
a topic.
Merritt.
Fuck.
Your life